Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Average doesn't grow your business. Smart strategy does. Cumulus digital campaigns outperform industry benchmarks by over 25%. You're not average, and your results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com today to leave average behind.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. Tune to DK on the Sports Tip weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. The Wildcats Radio 1290 studios are brought to you by ICCU at iccu.com. Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Bradley down into the lane, lay it up and good. Previous turnaround jump hook is good. Del Orso springs a three out there and drains it. Milwaukee takes away the rebound and slams it home. It's a man's game.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of University of Arizona basketball begins with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We are counting down to tip off for Arizona Wildcats basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Push shot is up short. Previous the offensive rebound. New 20 to shoot. Backing his way down on Rybach. Into the paint. Puts an elbow into him. Hook shot up and good. Out for Karchinkov. Wide open three. High off the back of the rim. No good. Krivas tips the rebound to Pete. Back to Karchinkov. Tries another three. That one is good. JB, little shake and bake down the lane. Runners up. Bank to Art. No good. The follow missed by Pete, but the second tip in by Koa Pete is good.
What athleticism by Koa Pete. That second jump there. Tips it one. Goes up quickly. Tips it again.
Bradley going to drive into the paint. Little pump fake. Bounce it down to Krivas. And he'll slam it home for two.
Big time finish there by Mo Krivas. Two hands. Not laying it up that time.
They're going to let it get down to about 10 here. With the play in motion, Bradley steps around a screen, spin move right. Now needs to get to work. Jumper, turn around, goes to the bucket, lay it up and good. Oh, what a beautiful move by Jaden Bradley. And the Cats up by 3, 16 seconds left. Inbound, Stewart throws it up from midcourt, no good. Final score, Arizona 71, UConn 67. The Wildcats stay unbeaten as they go to 5-0, and they have now beaten Florida, UCLA, and UConn, 3 ranked teams to open up the season.
It is basketball night in Arizona. Your Arizona Wildcats coming off that big win in Storrs, Connecticut. Tonight, taking on the Denver Pioneers at 8:30 p.m. at McHale Center. JW Madden here in studio, having a little bit of technical difficulties, so David Kelly will be along shortly. Joined as always by Kelvin Efon, captain of the U of A basketball football team. Kelvin, first initial thoughts on what you saw the other day in Storrs.
Man, I still can't get over, man, how great of a victory that was. Again, it was missing their big, but at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. No one's going to remember that at the end of the year. But you talking about the guys coming in, playing tough, playing physical, Koa Pete. It just was a great game and a great day to be a Wildcat, brother, for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so tough. You go into a place like that, like we saw in Cameron Indoor a couple of years ago. Obviously, UConn down a couple of players, but the wherewithal and the physicality that Arizona used to just dominate the boards during that game, it was really, really impressive to see.
Yes, it was, man. And that's what it's about, man. You got Big Toby Walker, you got Krivas in there. I mean, those guys dominated the boards and beat those guys rebounding as a team between basically those 3 guys, man. And, that's what you want, man. You want your team playing well. You don't want them peaking at this point of the year, but I don't think they are. I think they just playing ball and they really just getting to know each other, which is great when you think about that. Mid-January is when those guys, really should be tuning in and really getting going.
Like I said, having a couple technical difficulties at the moment. David Kelly will be along shortly, but let's take our first look at today's game.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
We'll take our first look at the Denver Pioneers coming into McHale Center. Also going to a spotlight on the Cat, we'll have Moteus Krivas, sophomore center from your University of Arizona Wildcats team. Later on, we'll go in the scouting report with Tyler Mom, the Denver broadcaster. And in the huddle, I'm sorry, not in the huddle, that's football, Kelvin, that we're not doing football tonight. A view from courtside, Michael Lev will join us from the Arizona Daily Star. Tommy Lloyd, his first thoughts about that big win over UConn.
Well, obviously, a great result for our club. Coming here was a special trip. I've never been here before, and just, the amount of respect I have, for UConn basketball over the years. I mean, literally they've dominated the sport. I'm in my 27th or 28th year, and I know scheduling's tough, and I have a ton of respect for him and the program, and we also caught a good hop today. With Reed out of the game, I mean, we're not going to say it doesn't change things. We know that changes things, and but if you get a good hop, field it in turn two, and our guys found a way to do that, and so I'm really proud of our team. A ton of credit, great atmosphere. I'd love to see what this place is on $1 beer night. $2 beer night was pretty impressive. $1 beer night, can we take it up another level? It was pretty impressive. So a ton of fun. Proud of this guy here next to me, just so steady. And, all the things he's going to say in this deal. He's going to give all his credit to his teammates, which is what a great point guard does. But I'm really proud of him and just, the player he's developed into being. And, JB had big dreams, as a basketball player. And, sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. But I'm telling you what, it's really impressive what he's done here this past month. I mean, he's literally a rock star.
So, Kelvin, being a guard that suited up for the University of Arizona Wildcats team, you've watched every team since your era, even before with Damon and Khalid and that team that maybe brought you to Tucson to begin with. Jaden Bradley, and especially in these last three big games against ranked opponents, finding a way down the stretch, Kelvin, to just will his team to victory, even after deferring for maybe the first 25 or 30 minutes, playing within the flow of the offense, but not looking to be quite as aggressive. But down the stretch of games, if Arizona really needs a bucket, doesn't matter how good Florida's front line is, doesn't matter how many shot blockers there are in for UConn, JB finds a way to get right to the cup.
Yeah, man, a true definition of a leader, man. I mean, he's starting to be our go-to player, man. And a lot of times people think a go-to guy is a guy that has to take the shot. But a lot of times it's a guy that's able to create the shot for himself or somebody else. And I just think right now, man, he has a total command of this team. I mean, he doesn't try to force this issue. He doesn't try to force himself on the team. He doesn't try to force scores. He picks his spots. And that's the reason why I think he's available at the end of the games to make big plays, because it's very hard to guard a guard that will pass the ball, that will make the right decision. And so at the end of those games, man, you're seeing him go one-on-one versus teams that are known for helping and known for, doubling the ball when it comes to the paint. And those guys are not coming over because they're afraid that their man will be the guy to make the game-winning shot. So he's just playing at a all-conference level or all-American level. And if he keep this up, man, having the team at number 2 in the nation, he could see this team go far in March, and he get to see his dream come true of getting past the Sweet 16.
Yeah, great to see his numbers, too, as far as minutes, Kelvin, because last year, remember, he was averaging 36, 37 minutes a game, and this year down to 29. So obviously, coach is getting him a little bit of rest on the sidelines. You need him to be as fresh as possible down the stretch of these games. Let's hear from Jaden Bradley on how he's grown as a player.
I would just say trusting in my work, trusting in the coaches, putting me in great positions, and my teammates, making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, on the court.
Jaden, just following up on that kind of in a way, did that UCLA game carry over towards the end? I mean, the way you did it there, and then could you describe kind of that last drive that you had? What was that? What was intended for that play? You wound up burning off some time and then getting it in there for the layup.
Most of our games have been, down to the wire, down to the stretch, and coaches drew up a great set, and we were able to get a ball screen, and my guys gave me great space, and I was able to make the layup, and we got to stop at the end.
Yeah, I think you said it, Kelvin. It's about making the right choices down the stretch, especially, and with a guy like Jaden Bradley, who you pointed out is very, very willing to facilitate. He's not trying to score, Kelvin, and I think a lot of times you'll see that in a combo guard, a guy who can get you 5 to 10 assists per game, can also get you 25, 30 points. A lot of times they taken upon themselves to score in those moments. But JB's head is up. That little dump-off pass to Krivas for the two-handed dunk right before that nice little step-through finish to give Arizona a 3-point lead with 15 seconds left to go. Whatever you need from Jaden Bradley down the stretch in those moments, he's going to provide it. And that just puts so much pressure on the defense because there's really nothing you can do to take that away because he's trying to facilitate, he's trying to score himself. Whatever you take away, he's going to take advantage of that and go the other direction.
We can't discount what he's bringing on the defensive end. You don't hear the guy that he's guarding going off. You don't hear the guy that he's guarding, making plays. He's coming over, digging in, doubling, getting steals, getting tie-ups. I mean, he's just a complete player. I mean, and that's the type of guy, again, that you want at your point guard. You want a guy that could be the head of the snake on the defensive side of the ball, that you don't have to take him off the ball and end up putting barriers on him. You can put him on the toughest guard on the other team and still have him understand how to conserve his energy and run the team on the other side of the court. So, all the things that he's doing right now, as I said before, he's checking the boxes of everything that is taken to become All-American and possibly one day maybe get his name up in that gym.
Hey, yeah, I mean, senior leader guards, Kelvin, who have started for the bulk of their college career. I mean, he started, obviously, in his previous stint before he came to Arizona. Quinton's took over at Alabama, and then, obviously, he's been a starter for most of his time here in Tucson. Let's hear what Coach Tommy Lloyd has to say about JB's winning time moments.
I mean, you guys probably need to start asking him some questions. I'm talking too much. So next question's for him. Thanks, Matt. Okay, good effort making it. I heard you weren't coming. Okay. Yeah, I mean, when you have a point guard who is selfless and also a baller and who has big enough cojones to take and make those shots at the end of a game, it's pretty special. And we have that in him. And it's really cool to see him kind of grow into that role. It's honestly, it's nothing he and I have ever talked about. So he gets all the credit. He gets all the credit for taking on that responsibility. And it's really impacted our team and in a really, really positive way. So I'm really proud of him.
And we obviously know all about Tommy Lloyd's relationship with Jaden Bradley. Kelvin, let's hear what Dan Hurley had to say about Jaden Bradley's efforts after that game in Storrs, Connecticut.
I mean, top point guard, top couple point guards. I mean, going to play in the NBA. Just made himself an NBA player. He's got good size. Made a really hard midi against Eric, against the 7-footer. I thought a good contest on him. But just, two-way player. One of the best point guards in the country, and he's going to play in the NBA.
Kelvin, the funniest thing to me about that comment from Dan Hurley is he named, I think, 7 players on Arizona's roster that are pros. You know that old shtick that coaches will do, Kelvin, where they say, "Oh yeah, he's a pro, 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 he's a pro," and he named basically everybody on Arizona's roster. But so much mutual respect, obviously, from those two coaches. Tommy Lloyd talking about the hype arriving when they went to UConn.
First off, you scheduled the game, a while back, not knowing you're both going to be ranked in the top 5. So, it's pretty cool when they kind of, you're on a collision course and it actually hits like that. It's just a great opportunity for our program to have a kind of a marquee win in a tough place.
K-Rock, in the 80s and 90s when you and I were becoming basketball fanatics, there was a lot of these. There was a lot of home and homes you would see between major programs. And lately, in the last 15 or 20 years, a lot of major schools have gone away from that. You don't see necessarily the 2-year, 4-year home and home. But for some reason, the last 4 or 5 years, Kelvin, I'm seeing a lot of this. I'm seeing a lot of teams, big name programs scheduling each other, not on neutral sites, but home and home. And how important is that, Kelvin, to have schools like Duke and UConn come into McHale Center and being able to go to their places and play in front of their fans?
Well, first of all, I think it's huge in recruiting. I mean, because, again, kids go to schools where they can play the best, where they can compete against the best. One, because the competitiveness in an individual player, that's what you want. And two, it puts you on the NBA spotlight. It gets you in an opportunity to be shown versus other good players so you can really show what you got. So, I think being able to play in those type of games where you're in real, true disadvantages because you're playing at other people's home court. I'm cool with the neutral sites because you're getting the game and you're getting those teams to match up. It felt like they were getting for scheduling those games. I feel like the NCAA was punishing those teams, but now they're starting to reward them a little bit more for playing those games. And ever since they came up with the committees and stuff, and so now I think the guys aren't afraid of losing those games because you're playing against other good competition, and it doesn't really hurt you or make you drop. So playing these games, man, it's just all, to me, it's important for the game.
Yeah, it's a great point. I think RPI, which is what was used as a measuring barometer in the 80s and 90s for the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee, it didn't necessarily take into account true road and true home and neutral, but the net ranking system that they've got in place now that they use does take into account that. So definitely, risk reward. You go onto a hostile court like you do and have in Storrs, Connecticut, and not a lot of teams are going to be able to come out with a win like that. But to me, win or lose, these measuring stick barometer games where you get a chance to go up against another top 5, top 10 team and really figure out with that film, Kelvin, what it is that your deficiencies you might have. No disrespect to some of these other teams that Arizona is going to play in the non-conference, but there isn't exactly a whole lot you can learn if you're not going up against an equal front line, for instance, or guards who can also get down, like you just said, with Jaden Bradley on defense. So to me, the more the merrier, the more these games, the better. We're just getting started here on the pregame show. We'll come back with Kelvin Ifon, David Kelly, and myself. You are listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Advantage Air and Mechanical, Cactus Auto Company, Casino del Sol, Done Right Services, Drain Masters, First Chiropractic, Idaho Central Credit Union, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks, Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, Royal GMC, Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, The Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Hey, man. It's me, your furnace, man. Hey, can I get a light here, man? I know we live in Arizona, so I understand I'm not, like as cool as your air conditioner. But I still need a tune-up at least once a year, man. So get the best in town, man. Goodfellas AC, bro. Hey, anybody smell that, man? I swear it wasn't me. Okay, it was me.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Discover your perfect vehicle at Cactus Auto, Tucson's trusted destination for certified pre-owned cars for over 30 years. They offer a wide range of certified pre-owned vehicles featuring the brands and models you love. Their finance experts are here to provide you with top dollar trade-in offers and help you find the best financing options, regardless of your credit history. With approved credit, enjoy no payments for up to 90 days. Trust Cactus Auto for quality, affordable pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, all backed by incredible savings and a 7-day exchange guarantee. Visit cactusauto.com.
We are the rush, the pulse, the thrill you didn't see coming. Welcome to Club Soul at Casino del Sol, where Tucson's best just got better. Join Club Soul today and get $20 free play. That's right, your first play is on us. Play, earn, and unlock exclusive rewards that take your experience to the next level. More thrills, more perks, more of what makes Casino del Sol unforgettable. We are Club Soul, only at Casino del Sol and Casino of the Sun. Enterprise of the Bosco Yaqui Tribe.
At the Window Depot, builders and contractors don't wait weeks. You get what you need today. Factory direct windows, doors, cabinets, countertops, it's all in stock and ready to go at wholesale prices. Whether you're tackling a remodel or a multifamily project, we've got job site quantities and no membership required. Our windows are proudly manufactured and assembled in Arizona with small business service and big box selection. Order online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Rightway is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 11,000 five-star Google reviews, you can trust Rightway to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Rightway today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Family outgrowing your car? Hughes Federal Credit Union can help you get the car you want and the rate you need. Hughes is one of the only financial institutions in the country that doesn't switch loan rates based on a qualified buyer's credit score. That means you get our one-rate guarantee regardless of your credit score. We promise. When it's time for your next new or used car, Hughes is here to take you further. Check out our low rates on hughesfcu.org/auto and apply today. Certain restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Here's Pete driving the other way, stops. Get it out to Bradley, shoots the open three, it is good. Jaden Bradley drains his fourth Lexus of Tucson Charity 3 of the season, and that puts him over 1,000 points now in his college basketball career.
It's time to take our first look at today's game. Brought to you by The Window Depot. The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
Arizona and Denver on tap tonight at McHale Center. The Pioneers come in at 2-3 on the year. Arizona 5-0 and newly minted as the number 2 team in the country. Today's poll, so they did not jump to number 1 as many as hoped, but they did get up to number 2 in the AP poll this week. Arizona 11 first place votes. They did hopscotch their Big 12 competitors from Houston, who are now the number 3 team in the country, and Purdue still number 1, 46 first place votes. The Boilermakers are 6-0 on the season. Denver, I mentioned, comes into tonight's game at 2-3. They have wins over Montana State and a pretty big win at Colorado State in their last game over the weekend. Losses at Seattle, at the Washington Huskies by 14, and UT San Antonio by 5 points. The Wildcats are in a stretch of games here over the course of now what will be almost 5 days since they played Connecticut. And they'll play again on Saturday. Their next major competition will be a week from Saturday at home against Auburn. So really 2 full weeks to kind of get right, get some practice in, much needed practice, be at home. The Wildcats have been on the road quite a bit, you know, going from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, all the way across country to Storrs, Connecticut. So a chance for the fellas to get in some studies as we begin to hit the finals part of the fall schedule, and that's a good time, says Tommy Lloyd, just to get into the lab.
We need to take a step as a program, you know, and having an incredible 2 weeks where we can get better. This win isn't going to mean we're going to be a great team in January or February, but the next 2 weeks of practice and our preparation will have more say in how we're going to be down the line.
And this is a stretch, guys, when you look at, really this next week and a half where the Wildcats are playing teams in Denver and Norfolk State that they are that much better than. Kelvin, when you go into games like this, these next 2 games, really what are you looking for against teams that you know you're probably going to beat by very high scores?
Well, what I'm really looking for is the way the guys come out and start the game out. You know, when you're playing against weaker competition, you want to come in and really jump on top of them and stay on top of them. A lot of times people think about, oh, it's time to get the young guys playing. I think this is a different time now, J-Dub and DK, because of, you know, all the new guys coming together, the freshmen. You can't just worry about the guys on the bench and trying to fix, you know, some of the guys' egos that you're trying to get playing time for. You have to make sure that those top 7, those top 8 guys are getting their playing time so they can get in game shape so they're ready come January when conference starts. So it's not like back in the old days when you had a bunch of veterans on the team and, you know, you would try to get them out early, let them get their 20 minutes in, 25 minutes in, and let the younger guys kind of develop. This is a new day and age. These guys need as much time on the court that they can together, and hopefully they get out to a big lead, and then you can get some guys in. So I think they're still building chemistry.
Back to your first point, Kelvin. You think that's a social media thing? Because back in the 80s and 90s, it felt like big, you know, teams that were ranked in the top 5, top 10 took every opponent seriously. And it seems like we've seen so many times in the last 10, 15 years where a team has got a 35-point spread, right? And they're expected to come out and demolish another team, and they may not take it very seriously. Maybe you just got moved up in the rankings. Maybe you're reading a bunch of press clippings about how great your trip to stores went or whatever that is. But to your first point, Kelvin, there is nothing more important for any basketball team across the nation, regardless of where their ranking is, to take every opponent as seriously as the UConn Huskies in Storrs, Connecticut, right? Like, you have to play every single game the exact same amount of intensity, the exact same amount of purpose, and follow that game plan. And so we've seen in recent years some teams that got out to a bit of a slow start in games like this, but I couldn't agree more. I would love to see them come out and just show that same physicality they did versus the UConn Huskies, and just, you know, no disrespect to the Denver Pioneers, but just show them that we're in a little bit of a different league. And then Kelvin, you can get some of the other guys off the bench potentially sometime.
Exactly. And even when you bring those guys in, they have to hold up a certain level of intensity, because you don't want to have any lapses. A lot of times teams are only as good as their last guy. You hear that all the time. Teams are only as good as the last guy that plays, that's on the team. So you want that intensity from everybody in the program, because you need it at practice, you need it on the bench, because that keeps the guys going. So yeah, man, you got to come out and play this team. I mean, it's not UConn, but great teams come out and finish these type of teams if they're really great.
Yeah, weakest link in the chain, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you look at, obviously, this game tonight and these 2 games you got coming up against Norfolk State and Denver, one important thing for Tommy is, look, they've had some big wins, and the ranking is as good as it's been in a long time at number 2 now in the country. But I think Tommy said that we're only 5-0, and that's essentially where this thing sits right now.
You know, we've gotten off to a good start this season. And, you know, and let's be honest, the Florida game could have went another direction. The UCLA game could have went another direction. So let's not act like we've, you know, got all the world's problems solved. But we're having a lot of incredible experiences, and we have a new team, a young team, and, with some great veteran leadership.
And I think the thing that just when he says, obviously those games could have gone the other direction, but I think if there's anything that we learned, at least in the first part of this non-conference schedule, is that you've got the ability to finish games, because sometimes that's something that doesn't necessarily come quickly. Even for a veteran team, the ability to win games down the stretch, the ability to be down, 2, 3, 4 points with about 4 or 5 minutes to go and find a way to win, like we've seen this Wildcat team do. And that's not to say it's going to work out every single time in a big ball game, but you like to see it early on that, hey, if we get into this situation come Big 12 time, we've been there before. We know who we can get the ball to try to at least put ourselves in a position to win those games.
Yeah, I think ego, you kind of, Kelvin, have to put your ego aside in moments like that, because you're talking about upperclassmen guard play. Anthony Delorso, Jaden Bradley, they've been around. They understand. Evan Nelson even understands what this game is all about. You bring in a lot of young players, and those 5 stars, Kelvin, may get all the headlines, but it's really those older guys and the continuity of the coaching staff that keeps the team together in those big moments. And guys, we saw them start out, 3-3 last year? And some fans are talking about sky falling type stuff. I mean, 5-0 is 5-0, and 3 big wins against ranked teams. But it's so true. I mean, this means nothing. These last 5 games mean nothing, Kelvin, outside of how you prepare to get better for Big 12 play and then through the Big 12 tournament into the March Madness. So it's really just a matter of progressing incrementally every single day getting better. And we've seen early on, closing, DK, is a matter of Jaden Bradley and those guys being on the same page and not necessarily jacking shots up, but moving the ball around and making sure you get the best look possible, and everybody being committed to the defensive end and rebounding. I mean, they've won these games, these big games, largely on the back of their dominant rebounding and JB finishing down the stretch.
And I'll add to that, I think it has a lot to do with on this team. Just think on some of the previous teams, Caleb Love especially, was the guy. And a lot of times he had to take jump shots because he had non-shooters on his left and right?
Yeah.
Now we're in a situation where you have 5 legitimate threats on the court. Crevis, he can finish at the rim. I mean, big time. He did it in the game. That's why the guy didn't come over and help. You're talking about, both wings, are guys. Koa Pete, you have to stay with him. So now with this team, the court is a little bit more space, and Jaden Bradley is able to take over and make things happen that I feel like Caleb Love really couldn't do last year because of basically teams would zone us up because you didn't have a team that was constructed like this. I think a lot you need to tip your cap to Tony for going out and finding these guys and finding the pieces that needed to be on this team to be able to make it successful and to be able to make it work around a guy like Bradley, who isn't known to be, a deep, effective shooter.
Yeah, and if you look at the guys, who maybe got switched out, a guy like Trey Townsend, love his game, love the experience he brought from Oakland. And Kelvin, I mean, if you're talking about, a 5-inch height difference between him and Koa Pete at that same spot, so the ability to finish over the top of big front lines. I mean, UCLA's front line's okay, but Florida and UConn have gigantic front lines. So having just that extra height and athleticism and just the wherewithal from the perimeter players to find the right man at the right time.
When you look at, obviously, Jaden Bradley, 21 points in the win over UConn, 5th time in his career he scored over 20 points. And that's another thing, guys. Again, this is a guy that's a senior, but he's only had 5 career 20-point games, and 2 of those have come this season. This is something new for him as well. He's never been in this situation where he's been asked to kind of go out and be that scorer. And we weren't even sure at the beginning of the season. It's like, well, is Jaden going to still kind of be that facilitator guy that scores between 12 and 18 a game? And is that going to be able to work? And are they going to get the points from somewhere else? Obviously, he has been asked to be that scorer. And Kelvin, is it hard to learn how to do that when you've never done that before, especially for a point guard?
Well, he has done it before. He wouldn't have been a McDonald's All-American.
Well, yeah, in high school, of course.
Yeah. And it's not I tell guys all the time, the best freshmen that play well is the guys that when the coach comes, let them play like high school. Like Barry's is getting an opportunity to do, same as Pete. They're playing a lot the same way that they played in high school. Check their shot. Just the shot chart. And so what I'm saying is I think Jaden Bradley is getting a chance to go back to high school. He's getting a chance to go back to being a McDonald's All-American. And when you watch them in high school, this is the exact same way he got it done. It wasn't with threes. He was taking guys to the basket, finishing creative shots around the bucket. So this is his wheelhouse. This is – anybody know New York point guards? Jaden Bradley. That's it. That's the style of play that a lot of those guys play. And so he's just getting a chance to do his thing. On a lot of those other teams that he was on, there were better dynamic scores. And so he deferred to them as any good point guard would do. But now he's kind of back in his wheelhouse of, basically being a guard that runs the team, but I can get mine whenever I want to.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about a guy who, first year at Alabama, he shot 39%, guys, from the field. So a little bit tighter windows, wasn't able to get those shots off he was in high school as a McDonald's All-American. 46 the last 2 years, 59%, Kelvin, this year. So it's really efficiency. What you want is the most efficient guys taking those big shots, late shot clock, and at the end of game scenarios, DK, because, you want to try to get the best shot in the best position for the players who are the most comfortable in knocking them down. And JB versus Florida, then 9 straight versus UCLA, and obviously closing out with that big assist to Crevis and that big step through layup at the end of that game. JB's just he's always had the tools but he's a much more mature player than he was 4 years ago when he first stepped foot on campus at Alabama. And he's making the right reads and being super efficient in his finishes. And that's what you need down the stretch, especially from your upperclassmen guards. That's how you win big games in March.
This game is being called the Wildcat Classic. In fact, the next 2 games are a part of what is being called the Wildcat Classic. It's kind of what they call a home multi-team event. Both the Denver Pioneers and Norfolk State, who's coming in here on Saturday, will play at Arizona and at Wyoming over the course. In fact, the Norfolk State played at Wyoming on Sunday. Then they're going to go home and then come back out and play the second half of the Wildcat Classic this coming Saturday against the U of A. So, the Wildcats, we mentioned before, not going to a traditional on-site multi-team event this year like they did last year to the Bahamas, like they've done a number of years in Maui, and will do so again, I believe, next year. But sometimes they'll create these home multi-team events where you can, again, it's all designed to get to the required number of games that most teams try to get to, 31 in the regular season. Denver has only ever beaten one Power 4 team, one team, and it came 25 years ago, and they beat a Pac-12 team. Well, at the time, it was a Pac-10 team. To do it, they knocked off the Oregon State Beavers back in December of 2000. They are 1-33 all time against Power 4 conference teams. They are on their way to the West Coast Conference. They'll be in the WCC beginning with the 26-27 season next year. We've kind of joked about Denver over the years being a school that is known for its skiing and being one of the best skiing teams in the country. They've won national championships at that. Of course, Colorado is a great place to go and partake in that activity. And they are starting to really kind of rev up here on all of their Division I sports. Fantastic gymnastics, women's gymnastics program that they have over at Denver as well. And they'll bring in graduate student Zane Nelson tonight, who came off the bench and scored 22 points in that win the other night over Colorado State. Colorado State had not lost a game coming into that contest, but Denver able to knock them down. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. It is Arizona and Colorado, and that is your first look at the game.
That's our first look at the game. Brought to you by the Window Depot. The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
And don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors our glass cleaner of the game. We will announce that at the conclusion of tonight's contest. Who might that be? It might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Could be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. We will tell you the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game coming up. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, the post-game show. 520-848-1290 is our number. If you'd like to chat about Arizona basketball, heading down to the game tonight at McHale Center. Games tonight and Saturday on the basketball side. And, of course, Friday night, the Territorial Cup football game up in Tempe. So a busy Thanksgiving week for Arizona athletics, as it always is. We'll take a break, come back, and we'll shine a spotlight on a cat. It's going to be one Moteus Crivas. We'll chat with Big Moteus when we come back. Kelvin Efon is here, as well as J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour one of the pregame show is brought to you by Advantage Air and Mechanical, Cactus Auto Company, Casino del Sol, Done Right Services, Drain Masters, First Chiropractic, Idaho Central Credit Union, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks, Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, Royal GMC, Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, The Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Life's busy. Errands, kids, work, the I-10 grind. Who's got time to sit at a detail shop?
That's why Recon Auto Detailing comes to me. Mobile detailing keeps my car spotless without losing a minute of my day.
From mobile washes to in-shop ceramic coatings, tint, and paint protection, we're Tucson's one-stop shop for keeping your ride looking new. Convenience, care, confidence, that's Recon Auto Detailing. Ceramic Pro West, Tucson.
Hold up. That wasn't Santa's sleigh. That was a Blazer EV flying off the lot at the Red Tag event at O'Reilly Chevrolet. We've got Red Tag pricing on the latest electric Chevys, and yes, we have the inventory. Get Red Tag O'Reilly pricing and supercharge your holidays with shockingly great deals that'll make your old gas tank jealous. Find us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or shop 24/7 at O'Reilly.com. EVs at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Hi, I'm Jordan Benjamin with Done Right Services. When your home or business needs HVAC, plumbing services, or electrical work, choose a genuine local Tucson company, Done Right Services. With decades of trusted experience and upfront pricing, Done Right Services treats every customer like a valued neighbor. From upgrades to urgent repairs, our licensed professionals deliver quality, care, and craftsmanship you can count on, getting it done right. Call Done Right Services today at 520-369-3966 because you deserve it done right.
Back your hometown favorite. Get your very own exclusive University of Arizona debit card from Hughes Federal Credit Union. Pair your new card with a free checking account that earns dividends with no monthly fees, no minimum balance, and convenient 24/7 online and mobile banking. Visit one of our 7 convenient branch locations to get your card instantly or open an account online at hughesfcu.org/wildcats. Show your Wildcat spirit all year long with Hughes Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
It's your time to shine. This is Desert Diamond Casino, the spot with Arizona's only hometown sportsbook, the hottest slots and tables, and off-the-charts energy you won't find anywhere else. Here, there's always a fun-filled, action-packed, downright unforgettable night right around the corner. So let your hair down, turn the sparkle all the way up. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino.
An enterprise of the Thana Ogden Nation.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up with science.
You mean they don't use yesterday's newspaper?
No, they use the latest in technology and innovation to eliminate bugs, bees, termites, weeds, and more.
So no as seen on TV salt guns?
Nope, only solutions that target insect biology, using chemistry to help protect the environment, people, and their pets.
You are so smart.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up. Call 886-3029 or visit essentialpest.com.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Push shot is up short. Previously offensive rebound. New 20 to shoot. Backing his way down on Rybach. Into the paint. Puts an elbow into him. Hook shot. Up and good.
Our pregame show Spotlight on a Cat is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Moteus Crivas, the junior big man, grabbed a career high 14 rebounds, go at 9 points in Arizona's win over then number 3 UConn. Connecticut, by the way, with their loss to Arizona, fell from 3 to 5 in this week's top 25 poll, AP top 25 poll. I mentioned Purdue number 1, Arizona number 2, Houston 3. Those were all 3 of those teams got the first place votes, with Purdue getting 46, Arizona 11, and Houston gathering 4. Duke is the number 4 team in the country, followed by UConn. 6-10 is Louisville, Michigan, Alabama, BYU, and Florida. BYU, of course, losing to Connecticut prior to Connecticut's game against Arizona. Michigan State, Gonzaga, Illinois, St. John's, and Iowa State. Iowa State in action tonight over in Las Vegas. We'll update you on that game a little bit later. 16 through 20, North Carolina, Tennessee, UCLA, and Kentucky, along with Texas Tech. Texas Tech has already lost twice this season. One of those was to Purdue over the weekend, as they could not knock off the number 1 team. And then 21 to 25 is Auburn, Arkansas, NC State, Vanderbilt, and Indiana. All 3 of those bottom teams undefeated so far on the season. Talking about Mo Krivas and the performance that he had, the 14 rebounds surpassed his previous career high of 9 rebounds in a game. Came up just a little bit short, though, of that triple-double. Let's hear from Moteas Krivas. Had a chance to catch up with him, and so I asked him, of course, a lot of people call him Mo, and I asked him what he prefers. Does he prefer to be called Mo? Does he prefer to be called by his full name, Moteas?
I would prefer to be called Matthias, but I got used to it, so it's
so
more than fine.
I'm one of those people who I don't like when people shorten my name either. So we will call you Moteas Krivas from here on out. Obviously, coming back off of the foot injury, how's that process been for you this summer to get ready for what we hope will be a healthy year for you this season?
It's definitely a long process. It started in the winter. Every day was like a day closer to coming back on the court, but it's been great. The team looking good and excited to play.
You've probably really gotten to know Chris Rounds more than you'd like to at this point.
Yeah.
What's he like? What's he like when you get into the lab with him and trying to get ready for a season?
First of all, he's a really good person, and he knows that the limits are high, and he just tries to push everyone to the limit. And he knows what he's doing. The guys just need to trust it, and when you trust it, the magic happens.
The magic happens. I like that. Moteas Krivas is joining us, center for your Arizona Wildcat. So in terms of your game, how did you develop that playing overseas before you came to the United States? Were you always a kid that was a pretty good outside shooter, as well as obviously as you gained height could play in the post?
I would say I was always similar profile to what I play now. Just when I was younger, I wasn't the tallest all the time, so I was playing more outside of the paint, but usually I just played how I play right now.
Okay, so when did you kind of get that growth spurt to become the tallest?
I didn't have the growth spurt, but when I transitioned from like boys basketball to men basketball, then I realized that I'm not the tallest anymore.
Moteas Krivas is joining us. What was that like when you started playing with guys? What types of adjustments did you have to make when you started playing with guys now that are in that 7-foot category?
It was definitely hard, but the biggest adjustments would be like physicality, of course. Like they understood the game way better than me because they played basketball professional way longer than me, but it took some time, and after that time I got more comfortable and it went well.
Moteas Krivas is our guest, coming back off of an injury this year for Arizona Wildcats. You've got a lot of young guys on this team coming into this year. What are your expectations from that group and what they potentially could add to this roster?
Yeah, we have a lot of young guys. They're great players, and the expectations for the team is just to always play as a one unit, and we don't need like crazy performances by one player every night. We just need the wins, and I think to get the wins, we need a little bit of everyone.
All right, tell me about it, Ivan Karchenkov. What do you make of him?
Oh, he's a great person. He was in the similar environment like me. He was playing in Germany, so he knows some similar topics and stuff with me. And as a player, he's really good shooter, strong body, so really good on defense, so I think he's a great player.
Yeah, I remember the one thing you said last year, we play it all the time, is how physical the Big 12 was. Yeah. What did you learn about that last year, and how are you more ready this year to potentially attack that?
I wasn't able to experience it on the court, but just watching from sideline and watching all the practice process, the film, it's really, really physical. The refs gives you more room to like rumble and just like play harder, and I think it's one of the toughest conferences in the country.
That's today's Spotlight on a Cat, brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Those refs give you a little room to rumble there in the Big 12.
Yeah, Kelvin. I mean, the toughest conferences, quote unquote, are the conferences who have referees who let the players bang a little bit.
Yeah, you have to, man. With these guys are so big. I mean, if it's not interfering with the play, if it's not, making a guy miss a shot, if you're not, being malicious, let them play through it, because it kills the flow of the game with all the fouls that are being called. These are big, athletic guys. There's going to be some contact, contrary to what everybody may think. There's going to be some contact with all these big guys going around. But as long as the referees, kind of keep it fair and kind of call it the same for both teams, it is what it is.
And it's actually Motiejus Krivas. Motiejus Krivas is how you pronounce his full name.
And you've heard Coach Lloyd call him Mo.
Yeah.
And Kelvin, why is that? Well, it's because if you're looking for an outlet pass in the real moment, Motiejus doesn't really ring out across the gym as much as Mo, right? So, I mean, clearly the young man would prefer to not have his name shortened. But, Kelvin, on the court, it's really just a matter of getting the information to the person you're trying to get attention to as fast as possible. So, Mo on the court, Motiejus off the court.
And also, I also bet that a lot of the American guys probably can't say that quite right. So, they make it a little easier, and we give you nicknames and everything like that because, because it just makes it easier to be able to get in communication. So, yeah, of course you would love to be able to, to pronounce and say the names where you can, guys can, the way they want them called. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to get your attention.
That's a good point. I never really thought that that's the actual element of play there when you're actually trying to be out there and communicating with your teammates. You've got to kind of do something that's quick and can flow very well.
If Kelvin and I were playing, he would say J outlet. Yeah. He wouldn't say JW outlet, right? You just shorten it up enough so that it's one syllable and that people understand that who you're trying to communicate to. So nicknames, a lot of the nicknames is a function thing.
And I'll say this too, guys. A lot of times what it is too, as a team, you want to speak the same language. You always hear me talk about that because, I have a lot of great coaches. You want to speak the same language, and you don't want guys saying 3 or 4 different names. So Mo is what it is, right? Because, this is the language that the coach speaks.
And he's had a pretty good start to his season on the defensive end of the floor, already having recorded 9 block shots through the first 5 games. Had a career-high 4 against Northern Arizona in 44 career games. Now he's had 25 block shots. And again, 9 so far this season. And one guy that came away pretty impressed with Motiejus Krivas was Dan Hurley.
Krivas is an NBA player. Cole Pete's an NBA player. Jaden Bradley's an NBA player. Berry's is an NBA player. I actually think Del Orso is going to make an NBA team just because he's got size and he shoots it with the way the new NBA plays. That guy's is maybe the best bench player in the country.
There you go. Dan Hurley, pretty much like you mentioned, Jade, I'm impressed with the whole roster.
He's not wrong. Game. Like, Kelvin, all of the people he mentioned definitely either will be high draft picks or will get a shot. I just find it funny when a coach, especially after the fact, Kelvin, starts glossing up and just saying how great the other guys are on the team because there's an element to that of him just trying to let them leave the gym a little bit high on themselves and have their coaching staff have to maybe bring them back down a little bit.
And also you're talking to your players. You don't want your players to get down and out. You want them to understand, you just played a good team. You didn't just lose to anybody. I mean, I know a lot of their guys thought they were going to punk the U of A. Well, they found out that these guys are a little bit tougher, and I guarantee you, Coach Hurley is appreciative of that. So that's the reason why he's really glazing them, as the kids say. He's really he's really laying it on thick that how good those guys. It reminds me of Kevin Sampson, talking last year about who's that, our center that went to North Carolina.
Kevin Sampson.
Yeah, he did the same thing about baseball being in the NBA next year, and it was because he played well against them. And a lot of times as coaches, you want to come up with some reason why these guys did well, and what better reason is that these guys are actually NBA players.
No question about that. Moteas Krivas, again, starting to find his role on this team, coming back off an injury, played just 8 games last year, but really becoming a presence at the defensive end of the floor so far this season, averaging 9 points and 8 rebounds, and really putting up those numbers against the 3 top 25 opponents that the Wildcats have played and beaten so far this season. So good to see from Moteas Krivas. Definitely want to see that continue for that young man. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. 520-848-1290 is the number. If you want to get in on the program, you can call us. You can text us. We are streaming this show right now live on YouTube. So head on over to our YouTube channel, Wildcats Radio 1290. There's all kinds of good stuff to peruse, videos over there, and a lot of our thoughts, top takeaways from various games that have transpired. If you missed our top takeaways from the UConn game, you can find that on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to download our app. Our app slaps everything. We've got a game preview up right now on our app. Arizona basketball today, everything you need to know on tonight's game against the Denver Pioneers. It'll be a 8:30 start tonight. Late start. We've got a few of these 8+ starts coming at 8 p.m. plus starts coming up over the course of this month. So just, be prepared to stay up late with us because we will take you from one day into the next day as only we can do that.
There is a lot of college basketball going on right now. So I don't know how long our scoreboard segment's going to be, but with the Players Era tournament going on and everything else, DK, there's only so many time slots, I think. There's a lot of basketball going on right now.
Well, we will get to our scoreboard coming up in the next hour, as well as some other things. We've got some good interviews on tap for you as we get you set for Arizona and Denver tonight at McHale Center. The number 2 Wildcats playing their first game in the Wildcat Classic. They'll play tonight against Denver and Saturday against Norfolk State. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We've got Kelvin Efon, I've got JW Madden, and we have got you as well. Thanks for being with us. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Advantage Air and Mechanical, Cactus Auto Company, Casino del Sol, Done Right Services, Drain Masters, First Chiropractic, Idaho Central Credit Union, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks, Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, Royal GMC, Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, The Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Broadway in Tucson presents the 20th anniversary season featuring 7 Tucson premieres, including Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Hell's Kitchen, Moulin Rouge, The Wiz, Back to the Future, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the lowest prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2025-2026 season tickets today.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
If you could rewind 10 years, what would you do differently? Buy Apple stock at $20? Skip the Ghost Pepper Challenge? Maybe even rethink the skinny jeans. Nate here, owner of Blue Sky Pest Control. Some regrets are harmless, termite damage isn't. You can't go back in time, but you can keep termites from eating your future. Call Blue Sky Pest Control today for your free termite inspection. Hello, Blue Sky. Goodbye, pests.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. Did you spend money on your AC this summer? My friends at Rightway will give you back up to $3,000 for those repairs.
That's right. No matter who did the repair, we'll buy it back for up to $3,000 towards the purchase of a new heating and air system.
No repair bills this year? No worries. Get 0% financing and no payments for 18 months. $3,000 trade-in for your old AC. 10-year parts and labor warranty. Plus a free system upgrade.
Have an aging heating and air system out of warranty? We'll inspect it absolutely free. Call Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing today. 520-201-8220.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of five-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Looking for quality windows without the wait? Come to the Window Depot. We carry a huge selection of Milgard windows, in stock now and ready for pickup. Need something custom? No problem. From new construction to full home replacement, we'll help you order the perfect Milgard windows built to fit your space, style, and budget. Whether you're a homeowner or contractor, the Window Depot makes it easy to get the windows you need fast. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you and see why we're your Milgard window experts.
Wildcats Radio 1290 Studios are brought to you by ICCU at ICCU.com. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Bradley down, into the lane, lay it up and good. Previous turnaround jump hook is good. Del Orso springs a three out there and drains it. Milwaukee takes away the rebound and slams it home. It's a man's game.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of University of Arizona basketball continues with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We are counting down to tip off for Arizona Wildcats basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Saved by Karchinkov. Feed inside to Koa Pete, backing his way into the lane. Turnaround fadeaway is good for Koa Pete.
Beautiful fadeaway there by Koa Pete. Able to get to a spot and elevate high above to knock it down.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
All right, hour number 2 of our show. Hour number 1 got off to a little bit of a disjointed start, but thanks to J-Dub and Kelvin for holding it down while I took care of some other business here inside of the building. But we've got DK with TL, DK sort of with TL, as we call it, because honestly, they have not had an actual press conference in weeks because there's been so many games, and so much travel. So I haven't had a chance to talk to Tommy Lloyd or ask him any questions in a long time. So it's kind of DK sort of with TL.
Those napkins are drying out, DK.
They are for sure. We'll check your college basketball scoreboard. Some big news involving the Big 12 today. That's Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyer scoreboard. Our scouting report today, we're going to chat with Tyler Maughan, who broadcasts the games for the Denver Pioneers. Jack Furrier, Tire and Auto Care with your scouting report. As always, can we beat the book tonight? Casino del Sol is asking that question. U of A, a 33.5-point favorite over the Denver Pioneers tonight. You're over under 153.5. Can we beat the book is the question. Michael Lev from the Arizona Daily Star will be with us a little bit later with your view from courtside. 1290 is the number to get in on the program. So let's hear now from the head coach.
For all the questions you need answered, it's DK with TL. Our David Kelly asks Tommy Lloyd questions, and you get the answers. DK with TL is sponsored by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Hughes Federal Credit Union. We take you further.
All right, DK sort of with Tommy Lloyd. If I had been in the room after the ball game in Storrs, Connecticut, I might have asked him a question somewhat like this. The Wildcats obviously killed UConn on the boards by +20 and really did a good job of shutting down several of their players at the defensive end of the floor. You mentioned Mo Krivas and the job he's been doing on that interior defense as well this season. Tommy Lloyd on what his team learned from defending UConn in that game.
What Danny and his staff have done with their offense is really, kind of revolutionized the game, but I don't think anybody else has been able to kind of mimic it yet. I mean, it's just a massive amount of movement, and it's actions layered on top of actions, and there's actually a rhyme and a reason and an organization to it that, it's like a Rubik's Cube. I haven't figured it out. So we got to do a great job staying on their bodies. That's why we decided to go to a non-switching plan. Where a lot of teams would maybe look at that and say, we want to switch. We were like, we want to stay on their body. We want to top lock when we can. We want to make their catches tough. We want to let them know that every time they get a screen, there's a good chance we're going to be fighting through it with them. And just kind of take our chances with that. We had worked on a plan B of switching some of that stuff, but our plan A was to fight our asses off and get through it.
So what do you guys think of kind of that mentality that they took there in terms of the defending and not necessarily switching, staying kind of in a man type of situation?
Well, I think it was a very smart decision because what they try to do when you find a team that sets a lot of multiple screens, they're trying to get you to switch so they can get you matched up in bad matchups, either bigs guarding guards or guards guarding their bigs. So if you stay with the guy and fight over, it makes it a lot more difficult for those guys because now they have to make sure that their passes are on time because, you're right there to get a hand on it and you're there, just in case they try to turn the corner and get to the basket, you're right on them. So I think it makes things more difficult when you stay with your guys, especially versus big teams, because you don't want to get cross-matched.
Yeah, we talked about a pregame the other day. There's no team and no coach in America that run a more complex system than Dan Hurley does at Connecticut. And they may run 16 different screens. And a lot of those are, really misdirection, DK. So you might think normally you're setting a high ball screen so that you can get action for a shooter coming off the baseline who's his man's getting screened off. He might go to the corner. A lot of times in their offense, that's a disguise tactic where they're actually going to have that shooter stop and go back the other direction. And so when it comes to defending it, it's really about instincts. It's about, the coaching you've had throughout your career. But not switching on those screens affords the opportunity for those players to fight through and stick with their men. And all you have to focus on is staying with your man. If you're trying to focus on guarding all 5 players on the court at the same time, that can get really sticky. That's where you see 2 guys take one man and leave a shooter wide open. So really smart decision by the coaching staff to not switch those things that Coach Hurley's system was running because, DK, go watch a team that does switch versus UConn, and you'll see how many open looks they get.
So is it different? Is what they do, is that different than what Houston does to try to create mismatches in their offense?
Yeah, Houston's a little more ISO heavy. They might run a ball screen, but they'll have their guards get downhill, especially late in games. We saw that last year.
Right.
They'll get their guards going downhill, mid-range stuff right at the cup, or swinging it out to shooters. What Coach Hurley is trying to do is they've got 5 threats. I mean, he recruits. We talk about modern basketball being 4 or 5 guys who can shoot, 4 or 5 guys who can score. That's Coach Hurley's system. His system is set up so that the guy who's open is the guy who's meant to take the shot. It's not too dissimilar from the philosophy of Coach Lloyd. It's just that Coach Lloyd is okay with 1 or 2 screens, Kelvin, and a shot. Coach Hurley wants as many screens, that old Hoosier style. They want to run as much offense as possible. They're not trying to kill the shot clock, but they do want to get as much motion as possible to get the best shot possible in each possession.
Guys, it has a very it has the look of European basketball. When you watch Coach Hurd and them play, if you watch European basketball, which I watch a lot myself because I like stealing the plays and the creativity, and it looks a lot like that. It looks like he's taking advantage of the team basketball and also NBA basketball, because if these guys want to eventually one day play in the NBA, they have to be able to play with other good players. You have to be able to play with other good players, and I think in this system where everybody is same as with Coach Lloyd's offense, in the system where everybody is a threat, that gets you ready for the next level.
All right, it is the Wildcats and the Denver Pioneers tonight. Let's take a look at what's happening. There's a lot of college basketball tonight, as JW mentioned, around the country.
Let's take a look at what's happening today around the rest of the country. The Wildcats Radio 1290 Game Day Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, Arizona's leading injury law firm.
Well, we'll start with the Big 12, and there are a number of teams that are playing in the Players Era Festival over in Las Vegas. We talked a little bit about this last week with John Morris, the voice of the Baylor Bears, because that's where they are tonight, or actually were this afternoon, as they played one of the early games in Las Vegas, and Baylor came out on top, knocking off Creighton today by a score of 81-74. Kansas is also in the Players Era Festival. They win today over Notre Dame, 71-61. Two other finals, or one other final currently, also from the Players Festival. Iowa State, number 15 in the country, knocks off Rick Pitino and St. John's, 83-82 tonight. Momo Momocilovic scored 23 points. We didn't see him in that first game. Last year he was hurt. I should say Milan Momocilovic. That was a career game high for him, 23 points. So the Cyclones are now 5-0.
Big
with the win over St. John's.
Non-con win for the conference.
Yeah.
You want as many great non-conference wins outside of conference play, so you bring those high net rankings, high RPI to the conference.
Cincinnati is leading New Jersey Institute of Technology 42-31 at home. They played a good game the other night against Louisville, but Louisville came back and rallied to win that game over Cincinnati, handing in their first loss. Number 3, Houston is also at the Players Invitational. They're playing right now. This game is late, and the number 3 Cougars are leading Syracuse by a score of 67-62. Miles Uzan, 20 points and 3 steals in that ball game. Arizona State is not at the Players Era Festival. They are in Maui at the Southwest Maui Invitational, and they're taking on, guess who? Sean Miller and Texas tonight in a game that'll start at 9:30 on ESPN2. The Sun Devils are 4-1. The Longhorns are 4-1. Now, before we get to what's happening nationally, I do want to kind of talk a little bit more about this Players Festival, because there was an announcement today involving this and what it's going to look like in the future. The Players Era Festival has partnered with the Big 12 Conference, a $50 million equity partnership. And there's that word, equity partnership, that we've heard the commissioner talk about before, and how it relates to how this conference is going to operate financially moving forward. And this is maybe one of the first steps in that, an equity partnership with this tournament, which plans to go to 32 teams next year. And the Big 12 now will have 8 automatic bids at this tournament, which is kind of interesting, because that was one of the things we talked about with John Morris last week, was what maybe, if more teams might be involved in going to Las Vegas and playing in a tournament like this, where, frankly, there's a lot of money involved. A $1 million NIL payout that's involved with this tournament. The head coach of the Houston Cougars, our guy Kelvin Sampson, was asked why his team, they played in it last year, they're back this year, and he was asked why they came back, and he simply said, they're giving us $1 million.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Like, there's 18 teams in this year's tournament. That's $18 million, DK.
Yeah.
And there's no way in hell that this tournament raises that amount of money. So in true Vegas fashion, this is a investment. and they want to turn this into a huge midseason tournament,
right?
That would be 4 games, guys. 3 games we've seen before when you're talking about 8-team tournaments. But if you're talking about 32, that would be five games to get to the championship game, right? So it's going to be a little tricky to get teams to come out. They're going to maybe move it outside of Vegas, but the goal being a little, Kelvin, mini NCAA tournament in the middle of the season. So 18 this year. This is, I believe, the second year that they've held this, and it is a players first. It's for the players. Every team gets a guaranteed money that's given to the NIL funds of each school. So, I mean, it's great, obviously, for the sport. I don't know, Kelvin. It could be slightly tricky when you start talking about 5 games in one tournament. That's a whole lot of that's about half your non-conference schedule right there in one fell swoop.
Yeah, but it's comparable to the NCAA tournament. So you get a chance to see how your team early on, will play in a situation to where they're in a one and done, type of tournament, and you're trying to win a championship, and when you're trying to make money. And that's the biggest thing to me. This situation is where, you could take care of your players, where you can, put some money back into the program. And we all know in this day and age, you need as much money as you can get.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. I love it. I mean, I love the idea that the Big 12 is now partnered with the Players Era tournament. I like the idea of, having a big name, Kelvin, kind of like a precursor to your conference schedule, because you're talking about most teams, they might play 11 or 12 non-conference games, and 2 or 3, 4 at most of those games are competitive games. A lot of them are in-state schools. You're talking about a payout for those in-state schools. The only downside, DK, is if you're talking about maybe cutting games in McHale Center versus teams like NAU so you can play in the Players Era tournament, there's only so many games you can play in the non-conference. So, games like tonight versus the University of Denver, those are big payouts for those smaller schools as well to be able to share in some of the money made here at McHale. Obviously, we know it's going to be filled out. So those are the only issues, but I love the idea of a important game. And I think, Kelvin, what they'll do is have it not be one and done. I'm pretty sure that you're guaranteed to play 3 or 4 games in the tournament. They don't even know how the championship formula this year, because 18 is not a clean number. So it's kind of like you might, if you go 2-0 in the first, you're guaranteed 2 games in this tournament this year. If you go 2-0, you might make the championship round. You might not. So it's kind of a little iffy because the math doesn't really work out. But with 32 teams, it would be pretty clean.
The way they've got this set up in the future, had it been in place this year, it goes by the previous year's conference standings in terms of those 8 teams. So Arizona would have been in the event based on where they finished last year. It would have been Houston, Texas Tech, Arizona, BYU, Iowa State, Kansas, Baylor, and West Virginia would have all been in this year's tournament. So, I mean, you got to anticipate that Arizona is going to be in the top 8 in most years. And if that's the way it's set up that the top 8 go, they're going to be in this event pretty much quite a lot moving forward.
Yeah, and again, there's like your entire November schedule, right? 4 or 5 games in November if you're playing every year.
And I was going to say also, you think about it, it started basically today, right?
Yeah, today and tomorrow.
Okay, so basically it's starting around the time where, if you notice, look at the games that U of A is playing. It looks like they're probably preparing and understanding that these next 2 weeks will be the time that you will be, scheduled to play these games.
Yeah, no doubt.
One of the other things that the head coach of the Houston Cougars said about this, I'm quoting Kelvin Sampson, when asked about why they went there and they're giving us $1 million, he says, I would say that's why all the teams are here. We didn't sign up for this to have a tournament where we could play each other. We signed up for this because they're giving us $1 million. If they decided to put a court down at some vacant lot and they'd give us $1 million, I'd go play there too.
While you were talking, Tyler Betsy made a 3-pointer for the Syracuse Orange and have now tied the game at 67, and we're going to overtime.
All right. Well, that is that. We'll update that on the Goldberg and Osborne.
I wonder how much
scoreboard.
Kelvin likes that $1 million now.
When we come back, but that's your scoreboard for now.
The Wildcats Radio 1290 Game Day Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, Arizona's leading injury law firm. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Acclaim Drain and Plumbing Solutions, Bear Down Roofing, Dorado Rock, Essential Pest Control, Goodfellas AC, Hughes Federal Credit Union, Johnson Manley Company, JT Auto, Lexus of Tucson, Mr. Rooter, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Hi, this is Tim Couch, retired NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, partner at Meridian Wealth Management, and proud member of Meridian's Tucson Advisory Business Council. It's my favorite time of year, college football season. I've always been a proud Wildcat. As our firm has grown in Tucson with Ruben and Natalie Fernandez, I now cheer on 2 Wildcats every year. My alma mater of Kentucky, of course, and our U of A Cats. Here's to a great football season, and go Cats.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Right Way is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 11,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Right Way to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Right Way today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
We are the rush, the pulse, the thrill you didn't see coming. Welcome to Club Soul at Casino del Sol. Now to December 28th, Club Soul members can strike it rich. Rush in for the $100,000 holiday gold rush. Join Club Soul today and get $20 free play. That's right, your first play is on us. Play, earn, and unlock exclusive rewards. We are Club Soul, only at Casino del Sol and Casino of the Sun. Enterprise of the Bosco Yaqui Tribe.
JT Auto, where their customers are family. Stop by their newest East Side location, conveniently located at 6947 East 22nd, just west of Cole. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guarantee, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where their customers are family. 372-7704. That's 372-7704. Or JTAutoAZ.com.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
At the Window Depot, builders and contractors don't wait weeks. You get what you need today. Factory direct windows, doors, cabinets, countertops, it's all in stock and ready to go at wholesale prices. Whether you're tackling a remodel or a multifamily project, we've got job site quantities and no membership required. Our windows are proudly manufactured and assembled in Arizona with small business service and big box selection. Order online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Looking for top-notch lumber and framing? Johnson Manley Lumber has been your trusted expert since 1970, specializing in both residential and commercial projects. Our experienced teams, cutting-edge technology, and reliable supply chain ensure your framing is on time and on budget every time. We're proud to be employee-owned and community-rooted in Tucson. Learn more at johnsonmanley.net. Proud supporter of the University of Arizona radio broadcast. Go Wildcats.
Ready to update your kitchen? Create a spa-inspired bathroom or a backyard oasis? Put the equity in your home to work for you with a home equity line of credit from Hughes. Borrow between $10,000 and $250,000 and enjoy flexible terms and no prepayment penalties. With Hughes Federal Credit Union's one-rate guarantee, there's no switching rates based on your credit score. All our members get our same low rate. Learn more at hughesfcu.org/HELOC. Insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender. Certain restrictions apply.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Drives left, jumper is up and short. The rebound battled for. Koa Pete gets it away. Bounce it ahead, grabbed by Jaden Bradley. Bradley will lay it up and good. Secondary break, and the Cats cash it in.
Time now for a look at today's Wildcat opponent. The Scouting Report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960. Here to get you there.
All right, it's the Denver Pioneers tonight here in Tucson. And for our scouting report tonight, we'll talk to a gentleman that knows a little bit about this club. His name is Tyler Mon. He calls their games at home when the Pioneers are playing there. This has been kind of a road show, though, for them so far this season. Tyler, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Obviously, this is a program that's kind of about to begin its way in the West Coast Conference, and but coming off a big win against Colorado State. Just kind of give us an overall sense of this Denver program under Tim Bergstrasser and kind of where they're headed and where he wants to try to get them to.
Yeah, guys, first off, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it. It's obviously a very interesting time for this DU program right now. Handful of games in under a new coaching staff and one of the best wins in, I don't think it's much of a stretch to say, in the Division I history of this program. Last time out against Colorado State, it was the first time they had beaten CSU since 2013. Pioneers have been 3-17 all time in their D1 era against Colorado State, and to go to Fort Collins for what essentially is a bye game for the Rams and be able to win on their home floor, it's a stamp to put on your first season, and pretty impressive stuff from Coach Bergstrasser in this program. This is very much a team that is working with a lot of familiarity. Guys who have played together in the past under Tim Bergstrasser at Minnesota State Moorhead, some other guys who fit into his system, his philosophies, who transferred in. There are only really 3 holdovers from the previous staff and last year's roster. 4 if you count a commit, a really promising commit who was targeted and signed last year with the old staff and stuck through it. The coaching transition with this new staff, but there's not a lot of continuity from last year's team. A lot of new faces, a lot of guys who are testing themselves at the Division I level for the first time. But the result of being able to get a win over CSU that's not a fluke. That's been one of the big shows in this state in college hoops for a long time. And to go to Fort Collins and get a win at Moby Arena is not easy, and a really impressive thing to do in game number 5.
Yeah, NCAA tournament team there in Colorado State, obviously. So what was the administration looking for in a head coach when they went out and found Tim Bergstrasser?
I think the things that fit well with Tim and the administration, the athletic director here had worked previously at Minnesota State, Mankato, I believe, or Duluth, sorry. And so was very familiar with a lot of those MSIC schools, had seen what had been built at Minnesota State Moorhead. And, you bring in a guy who is a very young coach. I think Tim just turned 35.
Yeah.
Has put together an extremely impressive career already. Had 75 wins through 3 seasons as a head coach at Minnesota State Moorhead, got his team to, the national quarterfinals, was winning conference tournaments, all that type of stuff. So I think an infusion of some of that young energy was something that, they really prided themselves on finding with this coaching search. And somebody who maybe knew how to build things by looking in unconventional ways to do that. You're recruiting from a base at a D2 school in a small town in Minnesota that is, you have to get creative sometimes with recruiting and getting the right athletes in. For Denver, this is a program that does not have a lot of basketball history to really hang its hat on. They never made the NCAA tournament as a Division I team. Their last real sustained era of any success was back in the 80s. I mean, they were a powerhouse at the NAIA and Division II level back then, but this is not a school that has really had a ton of basketball success. They've never won a conference tournament. They've won one regular season championship in a conference. That was back in the Sun Belt, I think in about 2013. So to bring somebody in who, has that fire and that drive to build something from the ground up and sort of make it his his mission as a young coach to get a program on the map. I think that was a big piece of this. And obviously it helps to, bring somebody in the era that we're in college athletics, who can bring some talent along with him. That certainly helps to a degree. And so this is something that they really haven't tried before. And somebody who is working his system in and his guys in. And, again, we're only 5 games in, but to be able to get a road win at Montana State, not an easy place to play, and a road win at Colorado State, a very difficult place to play, it's pretty impressive stuff to be 5 games into a D1 coaching tenure.
Tyler Mon is our guest. He's the broadcaster for the Denver Pioneers. It's your scouting report. It's brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960, here to get you there. I got to ask you about one guy in particular, Tyler, how much you've seen of Gabe Oldham coming out of Pima College here in Tucson, our junior college, which has a very strong basketball program. He started 4 games this season, averaging about 22 minutes. So what's the hope for Gabe in that program?
Gabe just feels like a very steady guy. He was an NJCAA All-American. That team last year, I think they went like 35-1.
Yeah.
And just, a guy who you could tell was dependable, was going to be there night after night, played a bunch of minutes, shot at a high percentage. And that's sort of how he feels so far. He just feels like a guy you're going to put out there, and if you're going to get 15 minutes out of him, if you're going to get 35 minutes out of him, you're going to get the same type of production out of him, regardless of what the game is. Now, obviously, as you guys know, making that jump from, in the case of a lot of these guys on this DU roster, making the jump from D2 to D1 is something. Making the jump from JUCO to D1 is something even different.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to have come in so far, he's had his ups and downs. He's had a couple of scoreless games, but he's gone for 7 or 8 points. Against Montana State in that road game, he was huge. He had 7 points and 8 rebounds, 9 rebounds actually in that game. So he was, kind of approaching double-double territory, really steady against CSU. He's shooting 7-14 from the floor this year. And granted, really small sample size, but to get a guy where he can make high leverage shots, high percentage shots, he's been a good piece for them to have so far. And to have somebody who is just dependable, I think is such a crucial element. He might not go out and put 25 and 15 up, but when you know that you're going to get somebody who's going to give you consistent quality minutes and is going to do so as, somewhat of a veteran guy, he's a junior, that is such an asset for a coaching staff that's in its first year that it really feels like he's going to develop into the type of player that can be really successful in the league that the Pioneers currently inhabit, in the Summit League, as he continues to develop throughout this non-conference portion.
And how important was it to have somebody that knows him like Carson Johnson come over with him from Minnesota State Moorhead?
Carson Johnson is a fascinating story, and you guys are going to get to see a lot of him tonight. But, Carson last year was midway through the season as a redshirt at Minnesota State Moorhead, was sort of forced to burn the red shirt because of injuries and a whole bunch of other stuff that was going on. He ended up starting like 23 games for them. He was named the conference tournament MVP. He scored almost 20 points per game. Just came out of nowhere. And when you see him, it doesn't necessarily strike you as, oh, that's the guy who's going to go out and be the assassin on the floor. But we had a guy here a couple of years ago named Tommy Bruner who actually led the nation in scoring in the regular season. He ended up falling, I think, a few tenths of a point behind Zach Edey for the overall scoring title in college basketball because Tommy got hurt at the end of the season and missed a couple of games. But for Pioneers fans here, Carson Johnson sort of gives you that Tommy Bruner vibe because he's not the biggest guy. He's listed at 6'1", 180, but he gets to his spot. He creates space for himself. He finds his shot, and he's not afraid of contact. That's one thing that Tommy did extraordinarily well, with Tommy always got to the free throw line. And so far, Carson Johnson's got a couple of games in which he has 7 or more free throw attempts. He's not afraid to try to assert himself and get his buckets that way, but he can also shoot it from the outside. He's almost 40% from 3 this season. He's a really fun player. He is a guy who I think fans here will really gravitate toward because, everybody sort of likes that underdog guy. And when you see a kid out there who's, certainly not the biggest guy on the floor, but he's blowing by everybody and he's knocking down shots from everywhere. He scored the first 15 points of the second half in the Pioneers. They ended up losing to UTSA in their lone home game at this point. But, he was unconscious. And to have somebody who can get on rolls like that and put a team on his back, you need those guys. And, obviously for the familiarity that he brings across, having been with Tim Bergstrasser at Minnesota State Moorhead, and now getting a chance to prove himself against higher-level competition, he is a really, really fun player to watch. And like I said, just such a fascinating story for a guy who's been midway through a redshirt season, then all of a sudden, all right, here's this dude scoring 20 points and leading a team to a conference tournament title.
It is your scouting report. It's brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960, here to get you there. Tyler Mullen is our guest broadcaster for the Denver Pioneers. I mentioned moving from the Summit League to the West Coast Conference. What's the excitement level for that like for this school and this program?
It is very high. It is something that has been long rumored for DU, and I think it's something that, to be perfectly frank, if we're not in the current era of conference, restructuring and migration and all of that, I'm not sure if it happens because DU has not been tremendously successful at basketball, and that's the money program for the West Coast Conference. But obviously, you lose a program like Gonzaga, the other shifts of the plates around the Pac-12 and the Mountain West Conference and everything else. The Denver market obviously is very attractive to the West Coast Conference, and Denver has the feel of a West Coast Conference school, private university, beautiful place, beautiful campus, high academic standard. Denver feels like a WCC fit and long has. I know several years ago we went and played at Gonzaga, and it was, I'll be honest with you, it was a bloodbath. I think the Pioneers ended up losing by 46 or something like that. They were down, 23-0 before they made their first shot. It was awful. But there were representatives from the West Coast Conference at that game who I know sort of emphasize, if you can get basketball going, we'd be really interested in making a match here. And to have this be the next chapter for Denver athletics is massive. The thing that is going to be really interesting is to see the way this coaching staff adapts, because this coaching staff was hired, as the perfect fit for this program being in the Summit League. They're from Summit League territory. They're Minnesota guys, coached in that state. They've got contacts in that state. They know how to build rosters that are similar to a lot of Summit League programs. Now you kind of have to shift your entire recruiting philosophy and look out west. So that's going to be really interesting and fun to watch over the next few years. But Denver has long had the base in place to be a really good basketball program. And to get there just feels like it would lift so many other boats around the athletic department and around campus, that if they can get this thing on wheels and you move into the West Coast Conference and you start to make some noise, I think the city and this community is really hungry to get around a program like that. And so that'll be really fun to watch, to see how this thing progresses moving to the WCC. DU is a really interesting athletic school because they have a bunch of sports that don't really fit into traditional conferences. Obviously it's a hockey school. They're in the NCHC for hockey, which is essentially the SEC football of college hockey. But, they've got lacrosse. Their lacrosse programs are in the Big East Conference. They've got gymnastics, which is in the Big 12. So it's interesting to have a home for these other sports that is so prestigious like the WCC. And that, I think, is the coolest part of this move for DU.
And skiing. Don't forget that.
Yes, exactly. And skiing. Big-time skiing school, guys. 20-plus national championships. I don't remember the name of that conference. The Rocky Mountain Skiing something. That is one sport that I have not done. I have not had the pleasure yet of calling skiing.
Oh, you got to get that on your resume so you can get one of them Olympic. You can get one of them Olympic assignments, right? Tyler, hey, we appreciate you joining us and letting us know a little bit about the Denver Pioneers.
That was a blast, guys. Thanks so much for having me. Enjoy it tonight.
Absolutely. And that is your scouting report for this evening.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The Scouting Report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960. Here to get you there.
The holidays are here, and so are the red tag savings on new Chevrolets at O'Reilly Chevrolet. We've got red tag inventory and pricing on the latest Silverado, Equinox, and Traverse models, and yes, we have inventory. Get red tag O'Reilly pricing on brand new Chevys and unwrap great holiday deals and unbeatable pricing all season long. Find us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or shop 24/7 at O'Reilly.com. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Uh-oh, another plumbing disaster. Don't panic. Call the pros at Acclaimed Drain and Plumbing Solutions. From clogged drains to full-blown repipe repairs, our expert team is fast, getting repipes done in one day. Reliable, professional, and always ready 24/7. When water won't behave, Acclaimed saves the day. Call 520-200-1089 or visit acclaimed-drain.com. Acclaimed Drain and Plumbing Solutions. Trusted, local, acclaimed.
It's your time to shine. This is Desert Diamond Casino, the spot with Arizona's only hometown sportsbook, the hottest slots and tables, and off-the-charts energy you won't find anywhere else. Here, there's always a fun-filled, action-packed, downright unforgettable night right around the corner. So let your hair down, turn the sparkle all the way up. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation. Every day is a balancing act, with work, family, goals, all asking for more. It helps to have tools that meet you at every step and a team that will always be by your side. We're ICCU. We're a credit union that has been helping members achieve financial success since 1940. In fact, we put members' success first, one by one, year after year, for 85 years and counting. Now, we're here for you, Tucson. Join us, ICCU.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. November is here, and if you've got holiday travel plans or you're just trying to cross town through the crazy road construction, Jack Furrier has great news with our biggest rebates of the year. Get back $160 to $220 on all Michelin brand tires, including smooth riding, long-lasting Michelin Defender 2. Check out jackfurriers.com for even more November specials. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the local choice with great service and 14 award-winning locations. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960. We're here to get you there.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of five-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up with science.
You mean they don't use yesterday's newspaper?
No, they use the latest in technology and innovation to eliminate bugs, bees, termites, weeds, and more.
So no as seen on TV salt guns?
Nope, only solutions that target insect biology, using chemistry to help protect the environment, people, and their pets.
You are so smart.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up. Call 886-3029 or visit essentialpest.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Jaden waits for a screen, gets it from Krivas, drives right, jumper is up, no, rebound loose, Krivas has got it, hook it up and in, and the Wildcats are back in front.
Excellent job by Mo Krivas staying active on that offensive rebound to put Arizona up by one.
Arizona, Denver tonight at McHale Center. Tip-off coming up a little under 2 hours from now. 8:30 is the ball game. If you're looking for Monday Night Football, head on over to our sister station, Freedom 1400. You can hear it, the Carolina Panthers game right now against the San Francisco 49ers.
How they doing?
They had the ball on 1st and goal at the 3-yard line after an interception, and Bryce Young threw an interception in the back of the end zone.
I was reading about
down 7-zip.
I mean, I'm a big Christian McCaffrey should have won the Heisman kind of guy, but I was reading that he's on pace, DK, to break the all-time receiving yards by running back record.
Wow.
By Marshall Faulk, by that whole St. Louis team. We never thought that would be seen. So he's having himself a season at the age of 30.
He is for sure. I mean, that is that's a guy that's tutored Bijan over this past summer, and so that's a guy you want to learn from.
Kelvin,
he is as good as they get.
Kelvin, you're a running back. What do you see? What makes Christian McCaffrey so special?
Oh man, that he's able to play multifaceted positions in the game. He's able to catch the ball on the perimeter, make guys miss, and take it all the way to the house. He can run the ball between the tackles, outside of the tackles. He's a threat both ways there. And he can pass block, which you don't want him doing a lot of. You really want to get him into the play and use him as a weapon. But, he's a guy that can just do it all as a running back, man. He's a special guy.
Doesn't look like Teto McMillan was on the field for that interception. So maybe that's one of the reasons why they did not score in that instance. 7-0 49ers leading the Panthers. Again, you can hear that game right now over on Freedom 1400 with full post-game coverage after the game on the Carolina Panthers radio network. Cumulus Media is your Southern Arizona home for the Carolina Panthers. We are also your home for the Arizona Wildcats, who will take on the Denver Pioneers in tonight's ball game. Let's maybe hope that the Wildcats can do on the boards to Denver what they did on the boards to the UConn Huskies, winning at a +20 clip. That would be nice tonight. It was Dan Hurley had a very interesting analogy. It was funny because both coaches were just throwing out baseball analogies. Tommy Lloyd came out after the game and said, "Hey, we got a good hop on that one because the fact that Terrace Reed Jr. did not play in the ball game, and Braylon Mullins was also out." And he's like, sometimes when you get a good hop, you have to turn 2. And then Danny Hurley, what you're going to hear him say here, I kind of equated to another baseball analogy. Let's hear from Danny Hurley on his team's inability to keep the Wildcats off the boards the other night.
I mean, again, it sucks. I mean, we got punked. We punked out. It's going to be a bad film session. There's a street fight going on in the paint. And, men can't watch fights, men, you can't stand on the outside, when your buddies are in a fight, you get in the fight, you don't stand on the periphery of the fight. And I think we see a lot of clips where guys were, not in the fight with their teammates.
Yeah, and to me, that kind of the analogy I had in terms of baseball was when the brawl breaks out on the infield. You better not be that guy that pitcher that's still in the bullpen when all the rest of your teammates are out there on the infield backing up your guys. And
what if you're the starting pitcher that throws at people and then runs away when they come at them?
That too. For sure.
Instigate, but not be ready to fight.
But, Kelvin, as a coach, were there instances where you had to kind of let your guys know, hey, you can't – you had maybe one guy that was doing all the rebounding in there, and you had to kind of convince the rest of your guys that, hey, you can't let him be the only one in there fighting for those boards?
Yeah, great teams, all 5 guys rebound. J-Dub always heard me say, guards got to give me 4 rebounds at least. At least I cannot, because there's long rebounds from three-pointers that your big man can't get, and you have to go get those. You have to chase those downs. They're called 50-50 balls. You have to go get them. So, yeah, I think that it's very important that you have all the guys rebounding. You don't want to leave it on one guy to do that job. It's a job of the whole team. And like Coach Hurley said, his guys were standing around on the outside looking. And right now, as a coach and a trainer, I always show guys themselves. I'm like, look at you, man. You got to get in there. I say, college scouts are looking at this stuff. That's why they want to see 3 full games of you and not just your little highlights.
And this is why, guys, generalizations are so stupid. Because for the past 40 years, we've heard West Coast basketball soft. West Coast basketball can't compete with the Midwest and Southeast teams, right? Well, it's not about the region of the country, Kelvin. It's about the program. And since year 1 that Coach Lloyd got here, I mean, you think about that first year with Dalen Terry and Coloco and Matherin and all those guys. That was a tough team. Every single year since then. And if you ask me, Kelvin, the Big 12 was much stronger top to bottom than Arizona had ever faced in the pack. But UCLA, I mean, we just saw the Bruins last week. Kelvin, under Cronin, UCLA is a Big Ten school, right? So Arizona has faced that amount of muscle. You can't come into that game soft. You have to have all 5 guys rebounding. You have to out-physical them. And that's basically the MO for how you're going to win in the Big 12. All the schools are going to play strong. All the schools are trying to group rebound. So a game like that against UConn, I mean, that's the way Coach Lloyd built this team, Kelvin, was to be able to get to out-rebound a team like the Huskies in their own building.
Yeah. And I'll add this. In this day and age, the West Coast, East Coast, the guys are everywhere. Coaches are everywhere. There's no more West Coast coaches or East Coast coaches. It's not like that anywhere. Guys are going everywhere. Sean Miller was considered an East Coast coach. Guess where he's been? He was in Arizona.
Ben Howland, right? Ben Howland at UCLA, same thing. So, Pitt guy.
Yeah. So they're recruiting internationally. They recruiting all over America. So I think that is overrated. Back in the day, you had a heavy West Coast flavor on a lot of the teams, but look up and down those rosters now. It's West Coast guys in New York and Florida, just like it's Florida guys in L.A.
When you look at a guy like Toby Awaka, although he is not starting for the Wildcats this season as he did most of last year, his numbers are still up. He was an 8-8 guy last year. So far this year, 10-9 on the season. We've seen him a little bit out there as well alongside Mo Krivas. Krivas at the 5 and Toby Awaka at the 4. And again, it has given this Wildcats team one of their biggest lineups that they've had in a long time. Toby kind of talked about being out there, him and Motias together, and what that adds to this Wildcats roster.
It was fun. I love playing with Mo. We haven't gotten to do that too much last year, but this year, especially as of recent in practice, and then obviously today, I think he kind of helps me unlock my game. And I think I do the same thing for him. So I think, we're a really good 1-2 combo. And, I love sharing the court with him.
Well, what changes for you? Anything you have to think about? Or obviously you're playing a little bit different position when he's in there? Or
Yeah, I think defensively some things change. I play more so perimeter, on the perimeter. And then I think, he just creates so much gravity in the paint. In terms of him ducking in, posting up, things like that, kind of makes things easier for me. And then obviously, if a team is keying in on both of us, guards going to get wide open threes, cuts to the basket, things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, Kelvin, one thing you worry about is Tobey moving his feet in modern basketball. A lot of 4s out there are spread 4s. They're going to take the bigs away from the basket. But these last few games, one of the biggest things I've taken away from Tobey Awaka in 2025 is his ability, Kelvin, to move his feet on the perimeter and stay in front of players. He's been switched out in that role quite a few times this year and really impressed with the big man. It's not easy to move those feet that quickly as he does. So to cut off those passing lanes and just to keep a body in front of those drivers, so important if he's going to be in a role where he finds himself out there in a perimeter.
Yeah, it's really important, and I think you have to get comfortable when you have a guy like Krivas on your team, on your team, because you're going to have to be one of the guys playing one of the guys on the 4-out 1 end or the high-low guy. But one of the things that's to his advantage is if you get up on that guy and he drives by you, guess who is back there to deter him? Krivas. So I think Krivas, by being there, helps him by being a rim protector, a guy that can get his body in front of the rim, his length can block shots, his size, can take up space in the paint. It helps defensively for Awaka being able to get up a little tighter on those three-point shooters and force them, into the lane or into a mid-range shot.
Yeah, and it's not like there's 2 guys out there at any given time. So what we're talking about is if Tobey's got a 4 who's quick on his feet and looking to shoot maybe some step-back stuff, guess what? Coop can come off his man and block a lot of shots. I mean, Karchenkov is very athletic and has a lot of good size. So there are a lot of guys on this team who can help out on those drives to the rim. So it just allows not necessarily to take gambles, Kelvin. You don't necessarily want Tobey Awaka reaching and diving in passing lanes to try to steal the ball. No. But there's a lot of guys back there who can help out and can protect that rim if anybody does get by him.
When you look at, obviously, the Wildcats and this game tonight, you're looking at a team in Denver that obviously we mentioned early on, 33 and a half-point favorites in this game. And we got a few folks that have chimed in on the contest tonight. Our guy Fred Scheib is listening on the show on Wildcats Radio 1290, the app. And he says, what do the Cats most need to improve? He says turnovers, three-point shooting, three-point D, and blocking out. Which one of those is the most important on that list that Fred Scheib throws out there?
Well,
Kelvin?
the least important is turnovers. I thought they've been doing great with taking care of the ball. So I would say that's the least, right? J-Dub, you think? I thought they've been doing pretty
Yeah,
good.
I mean, the turnovers they've had have been in bunches, like early in games, and they clean it up pretty quick. So, I mean, I've seen a couple of freshman errors. Obviously, we watched Braden Burries, a very fine young player, get stripped a couple of times. Wasn't solid enough with that ball. The question you have is, when you have newcomers to this level, how fast do they adapt? How quickly do they adapt to the strength, the physicality, the guys who are adept, Kelvin, at reaching in and stealing your cookies? So I think overall, I don't think turnovers have been a big issue. And the other thing to keep in mind is the quality of competition, right? I mean, Florida, UCLA, and UConn are all very good defensive teams. So some of those numbers might be a little bit inflated that you're seeing.
You mentioned Braden Burries there, and obviously in the terms of what we've seen from him getting into the foul trouble in these games early. Is that something that he'll grow out of, you think? Or is there technically something he needs to do with his game defensively to avoid those situations?
Feet, not hands, right, Kelvin?
Yes, and he has to play. I think, a lot of times people underestimate the play at this level. He only has 5 games at this level, folks. He only has 5 games. He had some great practices against Jaden Bradley, but I guarantee you most of those practices he probably was playing with them, because would you want Jaden Bradley taking your freshman 5-star guard's confidence before the season?
Right.
No. So more than likely he's playing with them. So this is his first real action versus grown men playing basketball at this level, the other starting guard, point or two. So I just think it's just tough. You just have to make the adjustments as he played. This is growing pains of being a 5-star starting at this level.
Yeah, and the thing about Braden Burries is he wants to make a big splash, DK. And that doesn't mean that he's a selfish guy calling his own number and trying to jack up 50 shots. But those early fouls was Braden Burries trying to force the issue and create a steal out at the point of attack. So you're talking about Braden Burries getting a foul 20, 25 feet away from the basket from reaching in on a ball handler. What he's trying to do there is strip the ball and get a fast break bucket for his team. What he really needs to learn from those two situations where he got early foul trouble is to not, Kelvin, do that 2 minutes into the game, right? I mean, be less aggressive at the point of attack early in the game, figure out and get a feel for how the refs are calling
Let it come to you.
Then get a little bit more aggressive as the game goes on.
And I'll add this defensively. I just think he's still learning how to rotate and be in the right position. A lot of times we always talk about these great high school guys, especially, the one who play in public school. He's used to just taking the ball from whoever he's playing against, just take their cookies right. He's guarding the ball, and he just take the ball away from him. The guys can't handle it. Well, at this level right here, most of your steals are going to be in the passing lane. It's going to be help side. So he has to do a better job of being in position, just like when he got the foul where he undercut the guy on the rotation. The guy got by him, so he has to run and get in front of that guy and get good position and not just run into their body. It's just about getting a better position for him, and he's going to learn that as these games go along.
And the big thing you should take away from the great Kelvin Ifon there is reps, guys, reps, listeners, because guess what, Kelvin? Braden Burries was not matched up with the best offensive player when he was playing in high school. They needed to save him. He needed to be on the court as, a 75% generator of their offense. So very rare do you see such a great high school player like that matched up versus the best offensive player on the other team. So you get to this level, everybody's a good offensive player. So like you said, from the practices he's got against some very seasoned guards, including Del Orso and Jaden Bradley, and then getting his feet wet in these first 5 games, it just takes a little time. I think Braden Burries is going to be just fine defensively. Good athlete, good instincts, moves his feet well. Just needs to keep his hand out of there in front of the refs early in the games, and he'll be fine.
All right, let's hear from Tommy Lloyd. Tommy Lloyd on his team being built for physical basketball.
Well, that's how we're built. We know, as you look at the landscape of college basketball, If you're not up for the physical fight, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to be a team that wins consistently at a high level. It's going to be tough to win on the road. It's going to be tough to win in the NCAA tournament. It's going to be tough to make a deep run. And so, we want to build our team with guys that are capable of playing physical basketball. And we play a way that, I think, allows us to kind of accentuate their mobility and their athleticism, but at the same point, like we're here for the hits, and we have no problem with body-to-body contact.
That is Tommy Lloyd, and that is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, getting you set for the Wildcats and the Denver Pioneers. We'll have our Pest of the Game coming up straight ahead, and also see if we can beat the book tonight, with Arizona being a 33.5-point favorite. 2 hours in the book, one more hour to go as we take you up to network coverage with Brian Jeffries and Ryan Hansen at 8 o'clock, along with JW Madden and Kelvin Ifan. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Acclaim Drain and Plumbing Solutions, Bear Down Roofing, Dorado Rock, Essential Pest Control, Goodfellas AC, Hughes Federal Credit Union, Johnson Manley Company, JT Auto, Lexus of Tucson, Mr. Rooter, Recon Auto Detail, Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking K, a master planned community designed by nature, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
At Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, we know your home is more than four walls. It's where family gathers and comfort matters most. During the month of November, with the purchase of a new HVAC system, we'll include a free water heater or take $1,000 off your installation. It's our way of helping keep your home cozy, efficient, and worry-free. Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, where home wellness begins.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rockin' K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Rush into Casino del Sol and Casino of the Sun this holiday season for the $100,000 Holiday Gold Rush. Now to December 28th, Club Soul members can strike it rich. Drawings are Fridays and Sundays at 6, 7, and 8 p.m. Win up to $1,000 in free play when you match 2 prize cards. And every 100 slot or table points earned gets you another shot at the gold. Rush in today, only at Casino del Sol. Enterprise of the Bosco Yaqui Tribe.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Ready to update your kitchen, create a spa-inspired bathroom, or a backyard oasis? Put the equity in your home to work for you with a home equity line of credit from Hughes. Borrow between $10,000 and $250,000 and enjoy flexible terms and no prepayment penalties. With Hughes Federal Credit Union's one-rate guarantee, there's no switching rates based on your credit score. All our members get our same low rate. Learn more at hughesfcu.org/HELOC. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender. Certain restrictions apply.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or RoyalKia.com.
At Goldberg & Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, We've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up with science.
You mean they don't use yesterday's newspaper?
No, they use the latest in technology and innovation to eliminate bugs, bees, termites, weeds, and more.
So no as seen on TV salt guns?
Nope, only solutions that target insect biology, using chemistry to help protect the environment, people, and their pets.
You are so smart.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up. Call 886-3029 or visit essentialpest.com.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Bradley down into the lane, lay it up and good. Previous turnaround jump hook is good. Del Orso springs a three out there and drains it. Milwaukee takes away the rebound and slams it home. It's a man's game.
Bear down, Cats. Our window depot coverage of University of Arizona basketball continues with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We are counting down to tip off for Arizona Wildcats basketball. This is Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Get it over for Bradley, left wing. High for Krivas, throw it inside for Pete. Pump fake, shot is up, good, and he is fouled by Demery, and that'll be the second on Silas Demery.
Big time acrobatic finish there, taking the contact. Koa Pete able to finish there. Love to see more high-low out of Arizona, especially with Koa Pete there on the bottom. Nice delivery by Mo Krivas.
Let's take a look at the Right Way rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
Yeah, Cole Pete, I think he's going to be on the right end of a lot of and ones this season for sure. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, final hour of our pregame show as we lead you up to network coverage at 8 o'clock. Tip-off tonight at McHale Center, Arizona, and the Denver Pioneers coming up for you at 8:30 right here, and also over on K-Hit 107.5. Coming up in this hour, we're going to see if we can beat the book. Arizona, a 33.5-point favorite tonight. Your over-under is at 153.5. Who will be that pioneer? That was the nickname for my high school back in the day. Who will be that pioneer that can get underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight? Your Pest of the Game is coming up straight ahead, brought to you by Essential Pest Control. We'll get your view from courtside. Michael Lev from the Arizona Daily Star joins us now. The Panthers just intercepted Brock Purdy for a third time in this game, and they have 0 points to show for it. J.C. Horn just got his second. Wow, they are ball hawking tonight, are the Cardinals, but got to turn that into some points at some point. Starting lineup, keys to the game, all of that's still coming up for you in this final hour of our pre-game show. Let's find out right now who's going to be that pioneer that could give the Wildcats some problems tonight.
Who is the pest that the Wildcats need to be free from to win today's game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by Essential Pest Control. Pest control with science. In Tucson at essentialpest.com.
All right, it's simple for me. I got to go with our guy from Pima, Gabe Oldham, 6'8", out of Spanish Fork, Utah. Spent the last 2 seasons playing for Brian Peabody up on West Anklam Road. As a freshman, averaged 14 points a game while pulling down 8 rebounds. Last year was just a dominant presence, 13 points, 9 rebounds on that team that went 35-1 and finished third in the nation at the Division II National Tournament. Second time this season we've had a big-time Pima Aztec alum coming back to play at McHale Center. Trevar Jackson did it earlier this year with the NAU Lumberjacks, and Trevar led the Lumberjacks in scoring that night. So I'm going with Gabe Oldham from Pima College as my guy that's going to get underneath the Wildcats' skin on his return to Tucson tonight.
K-Rock?
That's a good one right there, man. And Peabody does a great job getting these guys on to the next level and having them coached up, just like the guy was talking about when you was on the phone. But I'm going with Zane Nelson, a guard out of Birmingham, Alabama. I mean, journeyman. I mean, you talk about guys. I tell kids all the time that, man, you have to be, hungry to get to where you want to go, man. And this kid shows perseverance. St. Petersburg Community College in Florida, Navarro College in Texas, Arkansas at Monticello Division II, and Missouri Western State Division II, and now he's at Denver. I mean, you hear this a lot, man, and I love seeing these guys who's hungry to, continue their career.
My mom was born in American Fork, Utah, so Spanish Fork right around the street, right down the corner. I'm going to go today with Jeremiah Burke.
How many forks are there?
There's a lot. There's a lot of forks in Utah, for sure. I'm going to go with Jeremiah Burke for the simple reason that he's a forward who shoots the most threes for them. And if you're talking about any kind of damage you can do against this Arizona team, the guards are going to be great on ball. It's tough for guards to get shots off against this Arizona Wildcat team. It's tough for bigs to score in the paint over the top of the size of Tobe Awaka and Moteas Crivas. I think, Kelvin, the guys who can stretch you out, he averages 5.5 threes taken per game. So that's a guy, only at 6'7", 220 or so, but still, he's going to be a guy, you'll see, guys like Karchenkov on him, but any forward who shoots threes, Kelvin, is a problem at times.
All right, so those are the guys that we believe are going to get underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight for the Denver Pioneers. First time ever that these two programs have met in college basketball, Denver and Arizona tonight. Those are your pests of the game.
That's our Pest of the Game. Brought to you by Essential Pest Control. Pest control with science. In Tucson at essentialpest.com.
Game Oldham got cut from his high school basketball team as a freshman. That's some perseverance right there to get cut as a freshman, but to be able to continue working hard and get to Division I and have an opportunity to play at the next level. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Let's hear from Tim. You're on Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, the pregame show.
Hey, what's all this talk about forks, okay? We need to stop that immediately.
Right. Oh, that's right, yes.
Immediately extract that. I want to
No forks allowed this week. I ate spaghetti with my spoon last night at Olive Garden.
Yeah, no forks allowed Territorial Cup week. Sporks only.
Absolutely not. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Appreciate that, Tim. Tim's like, you can't. We're talking, Spanish fork and American fork? Yeah, we don't want to be talking anything. That's a 4-letter word. It actually is a 4-letter word. That is a 4-letter word that starts with an F and ends with a K. We cannot be talking about that tonight.
For the record, they're called that because of a river. So it's like one fork in the river and another fork in the river. Right. So that's why.
There you go. 520-848-1290. It is Territorial Cup week. How excited are you, K-Rock?
Wait a minute. Sorry, say that again.
I said it is Territorial Cup week. How excited are you?
Man, super excited when I know we got a legitimate chance to win. When you don't know about, how the team is playing, you don't really be too excited about it. You're like, these guys may get us. But in this situation, man, I'm totally excited, man. You got two good teams coming in there, man. And if these guys could pull out that win, man, already they're one of the, top teams in Arizona history just with 8 wins. I mean, get the 9th win versus ASU, man. You start really talking about some guys getting remembered.
You said two good teams, Kelvin. How many years can we say that? Like, it's usually a spoiler role. One of the teams is good, the other team's not good. I remember they played for that championship. What was it, like 7 years ago? That was the first time I think they were both ranked. But having both teams with, a finish line in front of them, Kelvin, where they could be going to some serious bowl games, if not maybe an outside chance at the college football playoff. I think it's amazing when you get both universities both successful at the same time. This has always been one of the greatest rivalries in the country, but so many people don't know about it because it's not number 20 Arizona versus number 18 ASU. It's rarely that situation. So having both programs be successful in the same year is always a bonus for this rivalry.
All right, Tim Bergstrasser is the head coach of the Denver Pioneers. He's in his first season. He's only 34 years old, 8th youngest Division I men's basketball coach in the country. Retained 3 players from last year's squad, kept one of the commits, and signed 11 transfers from the portal for his first season. Kemp comes from Minnesota State Moorhead, where he coached for 3 seasons and went 75-22, leading the Dragons to 3 consecutive 25-win seasons and 3 NCAA tournament appearances. Let's hear a little bit from Tim Bergstrasser on what his hopes are for the Denver Pioneers program he has taken over.
Wow, this amazing support. Just to see this many people out here to listen to me speak here for a little bit, and I hope you guys understand how much that matters to me. I really understand that this place is a big deal, but I really appreciate taking the time to be here for this. I can't thank enough Josh Burlow, Chancellor Hafner, the committee for allowing me to be the head coach here. Their sense of professionalism, I could really tell it was obvious in this, and I really respect how they handled that. And they were extremely diligent in that process as well. Obviously, I wanted to get done. I kept kind of poking at them a little bit, like, let's get this thing done. But you could tell they were really taking the time, doing their research to make sure they got the right person for this position. And you definitely didn't miss on that. You got a winner on that one, let me tell you. Okay? But coming to DU, it's always a spot that me and my wife have talked about living in Colorado. We've always wanted to be around mountains. We're big into hiking, okay? So we've always wanted to be here. That was the thing that just sweetened the pot for us, okay? And then when this job opened up, it's one that I always followed. I was always hoping that it would open up, and then I was to do what I could to put my foot in the door and get an opportunity to be the head coach. So I'm very grateful for that moment. But the professional college lifestyle that's here, like that vibe, is very obvious. And I think it's just a really cool atmosphere to be around. So it's going to be a very easy sell, in my opinion. I don't know how you don't sell this in so many different ways. And then just the academics on top of that, you can match that with so many different programs across the nation. That's a big deal here as well with the academics. We'll get our kind of people there. And then very obvious as well is just the investment within athletics. When I was because I was in an incredible situation at MSUM, and it had to be something really sweet for me to want to leave and to bring my family here. But I could really tell through the process, more people that I met along the way, they care about athletics here. The university, the department, they have a major investment in that. They want to see them succeed, and that was really, really important to me because family is a big deal for me, and I could tell that was here. And then when you really look at it too, athletic success, it's obvious. Okay, top to bottom, people are winning championships, national championships, making it to the national tournament. Okay, so why can't men's basketball do it? That's the way I looked at it. We have everything we need here to make sure we have success, if other programs could do it too. So we're going to jump on board right there with you. Can't make sure I can never forget about my beautiful wife here and making sure I thank you for everything you've done. The sacrifice in our journey has been awesome. You've packed up a lot to follow me on my journey, and you've denied some certain positions to make sure we follow my path. You've helped us raise 2 beautiful children right here. My daughter Presley, she's almost 3. She's going to treat this place like a jungle gym. She'll be telling you guys to all be quiet and shushing you when we're shooting free throws. I need to make sure she's screaming a little more at the opponent like she does at home. And then with my son, he's about 7 months here, Kai. He's probably the happiest little dude you'll ever meet. But I know my family, they'll be very present at any time we're playing here. But for them to come here and to be with me today, like it's a very big deal. It really warms my heart. But looking at our program, I take a lot of pride, and I want you to look at us just like they play the right way. Okay, you could tell they play hard, they compete, they play together, they're playing for each other, they care about winning. There's a lot of stuff that goes into winning. So that's why I really want you to look at our team, and we do it with class. Now, don't get it twisted. We're going to compete our tails off, but still, we're going to do it the right way, and we're going to do it with class and represent DU the right way. Okay, but we're going to have the mindset to compete for championships. That's how I'm wired. I've been so fortunate any place I've been to win. And it's because of players, it's because of mentors being at the right place at the right time, and right now is the right time to be at DU. And I say that with all honesty. But that is my mentality. We're going to win, we're going to fight for championships, we're going to compete in the Summit League. The Summit League's a big time league. I've been around it. Our league, a lot of people don't respect Division II, unfortunately, as much, but if you ever heard of the NSIC or aware of it, it's basically a Division I level. And I know how the Summit League operates. Yes, I'm going to have to learn. I'm going to have to rely on a lot of people for some help, and I'm going to have to make adjustments. But as a competitor myself, the Summit League is something I want to be a part of, okay, because it's big time, high-level basketball with some really good players and some very good coaches. So we're not going to be afraid to compete in that. But what I will say is you're going to see a different level of passion, intensity, discipline that this program's ever had. Okay, I'm going to have so much ownership in making sure that happens for DU men's basketball. What we have here is enough. I have done my research plenty. I've met as many people as I need to meet to understand you can win here and you could do some incredible things here. Like I said before, right now is the right time to be here. And the way we sell it, we're going to be extremely blunt and upfront in the beginning of the process, and we're going to attract people that are about that, and we're going to weed out the people that are not. That's how you need to be as a recruiter. Understand who you are and sell that nice and clearly. You'll bring in your type of people.
Tucson, it's time to beat the book. Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at the numbers and find out how you should bet the book so you can beat the book. Bet the Book is sponsored by Casino del Sol. Casino del Sol, home of award-winning dining, gaming, resorts, and golf.
All right, who's going to beat the book tonight? Kelvin is leading right now. He is 6-4. J-Dub 5-5. DK 4-6. Arizona is a 33.5 point favorite in this game tonight. The leader is Kelvin. We'll start with Kelvin. Kelvin, Arizona, and 33.5 points.
Yeah, 33. Nah, it's a little too much. I'll say 30, but 33 is a little too much. They're trying to play them Vegas tricks.
So Kelvin is taking DU and the 33.5 points. JW Madden.
Yeah, I think same. I mean, I think a couple reasons. If you look at their entirety of their 5-game season, guys, they kept every game close, including at Washington. So we may not think of the Denver Pioneers as being world beaters, but certainly there's some fight in that team, Kelvin. And I think that, after Arizona gets out to a lead, you're probably going to see some of the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th guys get a little bit of run. So, yeah, something closer to 25 or 30.
Should I go against you guys to try to make up some ground here today? I don't like that number, though. I do not like it. It doesn't feel good in my gut. So I'm going to take Denver plus the 33.5 as well. Now, your over-under is 153.5 points. It has been kind of the under this year. Denver, though, looks like they can score a little bit better than what we've seen here already in NAU and Utah Tech.
They've scored at least 70 points in every game they've played this year.
Yeah, I like the over on that.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I don't want to agree with you, but I do. I like the over. This team can score, and U of A is definitely going to put some points on the board.
Yeah, I'm not betting based on standings or nonsense. I'm just betting based on what it seems like this particular game, and I think they're going to score. That's a low over-under relative to what we've seen recently. So, yeah, I think they're going to score a good amount over that for sure.
Yeah, it's 155.5 against UConn and 154.5 against UCLA. The low one was 144. UCLA was the lowest, and then 163 was the highest.
Yeah.
Against Utah
I just
Tech.
think Arizona is going to be scoring in the 80s more games than not, and the teams they've come up against have got some pretty high flyers as well. Florida, UConn can put points on the board, so I think you're going to see a little bit closer to that number moving forward because I think Arizona's defense, guys, has been a little overlooked, and their defense is quite good this year as well.
All right, everybody's taking Denver in the 33.5 and the 153.5 over. We'll find out if we beat the books after the game.
That is how you bet the book so you can beat the book. Bet the Book is sponsored by Casino del Sol. Casino del Sol, home of award-winning dining, gaming, resorts, and golf.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcast. So if you've been injured, make the right choice first.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Tired of your old ride acting like that one uncle who never starts on time?
Trade him in at the Red Tag event at O'Reilly Used Cars. We've got Red Tag inventory and pricing on reliable pre-owned Chevys, trucks, and SUVs, and yes, we have inventory. Get Red Tag O'Reilly pricing and save big with holiday deals so good, even Santa's trading in his sleigh. Ho, ho, ho. Find us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or shop 24/7 at O'Reilly.com. O'Reilly Used Cars. Together, let's drive.
Well, it's that time of year. You dress the kids up for the holiday parties, and they hate it. You dress everybody up for the annual holiday card picture, and, well, everybody hates that. You even dress the turkey, and we're pretty sure he's not happy about that. This year, dress up your yard in time for the holidays. Call Dorado Rockin' Materials, and we promise there will be no complaints. Make your yard beautiful and worry-free with their personal service and convenient delivery times. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Ugh, no, not the sink. Not now.
Plumbing issues can put your life on pause. But with anytime emergency scheduling, the Neighborly Done Right promise, and more, Mr. Rooter Plumbing will have your life flowing again in no time.
All fixed. Much better.
Mr. Rooter is proud to cheer on the Cats. Mention this ad for 10% off any plumbing service. A win for the whole family. Bear down, Arizona.
Mr. Rooter Plumbing,
a neighborly company. Every day is a balancing act, with work, family, goals, all asking for more. It helps to have tools that meet you at every step and a team that will always be by your side. We're ICCU. We're a credit union that has been helping members achieve financial success since 1940. In fact, we put member success first, one by one, year after year, for 85 years and counting. Now, we're here for you, Tucson. Join us, ICCU.
It's your time to shine. This is Desert Diamond Casino, the spot with Arizona's only hometown sportsbook, the hottest slots and tables, and off-the-charts energy you won't find anywhere else. Here, there's always a fun-filled, action-packed, downright unforgettable night right around the corner. So let your hair down, turn the sparkle all the way up. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino.
An enterprise of the Donna Ogden Nation.
At the Window Depot, builders and contractors don't wait weeks. You get what you need today. Factory direct windows, doors, cabinets, countertops, it's all in stock and ready to go at wholesale prices. Whether you're tackling a remodel or a multifamily project, we've got job site quantities and no membership required. Our windows are proudly manufactured and assembled in Arizona with small business service and big box selection. Order online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up with science.
You mean they don't use yesterday's newspaper?
No, they use the latest in technology and innovation to eliminate bugs, bees, termites, weeds, and more.
So no as seen on TV salt guns?
Nope, only solutions that target insect biology, using chemistry to help protect the environment, people, and their pets.
You are so smart.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up. Call 886-3029 or visit essentialpest.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden. It's time now for us to take you down to the front row of the arena. A view from courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser serving Southern Arizona over 30 years.
And our view from courtside today comes from the man who writes the columns over at the Arizona Daily Star. His name is Michael Lev and covers pretty much everything nowadays, from Arizona athletics to high school sports to Michael. Well, you were probably at the football game, so you were not out covering El Tour de Tucson over the weekend, I would imagine.
No, that is one thing that I am not covering currently, but you never know. You never know.
That's right. You never can know. So, Michael, your early impressions on what you've seen from this Arizona basketball team, obviously ascending to the number 2 ranking in the country this week after wins over 2 number 3s and a number 15. Well, what have been just kind of your top takeaways early on?
Yeah, you can't help but be impressed with the mettle, the intestinal fortitude of this team, which has a lot of young players on it, the fact that they have those 3 signature wins already, none of them taking place at McHale Center, super duper impressive. I think what's interesting about this team is, there's this kind of division, right? They've got this group of veterans and this group of freshmen. And, the freshmen are super talented, but you never know what you're going to get a given night when you're talking about freshmen. And there's certainly been some ups and downs from within that group. And you've seen how valuable it is to have some experienced guys that you can rely upon and fall back on in difficult circumstances, guys who've been there and done that. Jaden Bradley has been everything that we thought and hoped that he could be so far. Like, it's just a great closer. Like, put the ball in his hands in the last 5 minutes of the game. He's going to make good decisions. He's going to score, going to set people up. Anthony Del Orso, I think, is one of the most improved players on the team. The stats might not necessarily be there for Mo Krivas, but I feel like he's had a really big influence as a legit, 7-2 guy in the paint. And then, Tobe Awaka just kind of does what he does, which is bang people around and grab rebounds and kind of do all the dirty work. So when you have that group of veterans that you can rely on, and then these super talented freshmen, put it all together, I think this is probably the most talented team that Tommy Lloyd has had. We'll see if they peak at the right time to make a deep run, come March. But they've got all the pieces to do so.
Michael Lev is our guest, Arizona Daily Star. And Michael, obviously you talk about this freshman class, and what Koa Pete's done early on has been pretty impressive, especially his ability to attack the glass and break guys down one-on-one. And we've seen each one of these freshmen, have their moment in any given game. Obviously, though, Braden Burries has maybe struggled a bit against some of the higher competition like UConn and UCLA. And, going home for that game's never easy when you're a young guy like that. And I think really that's maybe the next thing you want to see is him and Dwayne Aristote be able to raise their games and have that scoring output, high assist output for Braden against top flight competition. And that's not going to come again until Auburn. But I think you want to see that from those 2 other freshmen heading into Big 12 conference play.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably put Ivan Karchenkov in that group too. He's probably been an overall more effective player, but still only shooting 27.6% from the floor.
Yeah,
he's only 3 of 13 from 3. He's been a good rebounder though, and I like how he plays downhill. Braden Burries, he just looks a little uncomfortable to me so far. Like, he's just finding his way. He's gotten in foul trouble a handful of times, like really early in games, and that's kind of thrown his rhythm all out of whack. We've seen glimpses of his talent. He also looks to me like someone who could probably use a full off season in the weight program, like one of those guys who comes back in his second year and all of a sudden he's not only stronger, but he's quicker and faster. Whereas, with Karchenkov and Koa Pete, like those guys, they look like pros physically, right? Like, I don't think there's any issue with them sort of being able to handle college basketball players at this level from a physical standpoint. Wayne Aristote, too, is very well defined, strong young kid. But yeah, Burries, he's an interesting one. And the good thing is, they haven't really needed him, right, to be great, because Del Orso, as mentioned, is much improved. Jaden Bradley is capable of handling a big load, a lot of responsibilities. I do worry, as I worried a year ago, about how many minutes Jaden Bradley plays, right? Like, in those 3 big games, 36 minutes against Florida, 34 against UCLA, 35 against UConn. To me, David, that's a little bit too much. I would like to see those minutes be more in the 32 range, because that just has a cumulative effect over the course of the season. And it seems like Braden Burries is his, quote-unquote backup. based on the way they've done their rotations lately. So it's going to be important for him to gain some confidence in these games against lesser opponents so that he's ready the next time they face a big-time foe.
It's your view from courtside, and it's brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Arizona for over 30 years. Chatting with Michael Lev from the Arizona Daily Star, covers everything Arizona athletics. And Michael, obviously, this football team has just been so much fun to watch this season, and with the Territorial Cup game coming up this year. You guys always come up with some of the good numbers in what you do over there at the Arizona Daily Star, and I love the one you guys came up with over the weekend, or researched over the weekend, in terms of Chris Hudson and just the establishing of himself really over the last 3 games as being the go-to target on third downs for this offense.
Yeah, I think it's 7. I think he has 17 receptions in the last 2 games, and 14 of those have gone for first downs.
Yeah,
which is a pretty astounding number. I mean, there was one third down during the game where I just said in the press box, like, this is probably going to Chris Hudson, because that's just kind of, where Noah Fafita feels the most confident right now. There's a little, I feel a little, concern that's, we saw this last year with Noah, where he was locking in on Tetero McMillan all the time, and maybe too much. And you feel like that could be happening a little bit with the new number 4, Chris Hudson, but I don't think there's enough evidence to really draw that conclusion yet. And they do have other guys who are more than capable. We've seen, flashes of brilliance from Trey Spivey. We've seen Javen Watley do some good things. Luke Wysong, Gio Richardson is emerging as a dude. But it has really been fun to watch Chris Hudson the last couple weeks, healthy, a little bit banged up at the start of the season. But I just he's really tough and feisty and competitive. I think it was 5 out of 6 in contested catches in this last game against Baylor, which, he's not that big of a guy. So, you really have to want the ball to have a stat like that. And Chris Hudson is somebody who wants the ball.
The evolution of this defense, and my top takeaway from the win over Baylor was that you give Danny Gonzalez a 15-minute halftime, and he's going to figure it out. He's going to figure it out. He's just that good. But again, any given coach can give, and I made this statement. Any given coach can give the players the food, but you got to have the players that know how to eat the food. And this defense with these veteran guys like Dalton Johnson and Traden Stukes, and you bring in a Max Harris who's a very intelligent ball player, they understand it and they can put it out onto the field. I mean, it's one thing to be able to tell the guys how to do it, but you got to have guys that know how to go out there and do what you want them to do. And this defense has been that for Arizona and for Danny Gonzalez.
You have to have the utensils to eat the food, right?
Right.
I think that is a great point that you make, David. They have really smart veteran players who can take the instruction in a short amount of time and turn it into production out on the field. It has really been amazing to watch how they have shut down Kansas, Cincinnati, Baylor, everyone throughout the season in the second halves of these games. Just stunningly good. And there have definitely been moments where you're watching in the first quarter and you're like, uh-oh, this doesn't look good. Like the way Cincinnati was running the ball down the field against the Wildcats a couple weeks ago. You're like, oh, man, this is going to be a long afternoon. And they figure it out. They make the adjustments. I've said this elsewhere, but I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable enough to say how every assistant coach has performed all across the spectrum of college football, but I cannot imagine that any assistant coach has done a better job than Danny Gonzalez has with this Arizona defense.
What are your early impressions of Becky Burke? I thought it was kind of interesting that she was really not too happy after that win over NAU the other night.
She is extremely intense.
Yeah.
and she holds the players to a high standard. And I don't think that's going to change. It will be interesting to see moving forward how that is received among players. There was a retention problem here with the previous head coach. We'll see when the time comes whether that's an issue with Becky or not. I think the young players who wanted to come here, the freshmen especially, I think they knew what they were getting themselves into, and they're receptive to coaching. But I think what that was really all about the other night was she knows that if they play like that against a better team, they probably won't win.
Yeah.
Like it looks good on paper, scoring all these points, but they're not a team that can really fill it up. They have to rely on being really scrappy on defense, and she didn't see that nearly enough against NAU, and she knows when the time comes and Big 12 play rolls around and they're facing Utah or TCU or Iowa State or any of these teams that have bigger, better players, they're not going to win if they don't do those little things, especially on the defensive end.
You got any covering any of the high school football playoffs coming up at all?
I don't, but I'm holding out hope that one of the two remaining teams from Tucson will make it to the championship game.
Yeah.
Up in Phoenix. The last two that are alive are South Point and Micah Mountain. And if one of them or both of them do, I very likely will be making my way up to Phoenix to cover one of those title games. I definitely would have stayed over in Phoenix this upcoming weekend if it was either Tanca Verde was one possibility at the lower levels, and who was the other one? There was another local school that was alive that had a chance to make it. Push Ridge, yes, yeah, that's right. Push Ridge. So if one of them had made it, I would have stayed over and covered them as well. But yeah, a couple hopefuls. Still, Micah Mountain seems like they're getting hot at the right time. After some struggles for them, I guess during the regular season, they did it before last year, so maybe they can do it again.
Yeah, under the radar early in the season upon the return of Jay Campos, but Jay knows how to win at the high level, so not surprised that they are in the mix at the end. Michael J. Lev, you can follow him on the Twitter. He covers everything Arizona athletics as well as sports here in Southern Arizona. Mike, always a great chance to chat with you and hear your tremendous thoughts on what's going on surrounding the Wildcats.
Hey, thanks for having me, David.
That is your view from courtside for tonight.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Southern Arizona for over 30 years.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
From offices and warehouses to retail spaces and restaurants, the right lighting transforms your environment. At Arizona Commercial Lighting, we've been proudly locally owned and operated for nearly 40 years. Our extensive inventory of in-stock lighting solutions is designed to meet both commercial and residential needs, with quality, variety, and value you won't find anywhere else. Visit us at 1436 East 17th Street or explore our offerings online at azcommerciallighting.com. Be sure to ask about available TEP rebates. Arizona Commercial Lighting, powering business through precision lighting.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
At Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, we know your home is more than four walls. It's where family gathers and comfort matters most. During the month of November, with the purchase of a new HVAC system, we'll include a free water heater or take $1,000 off your installation. It's our way of helping keep your home cozy, efficient, and worry-free. Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, where home wellness begins.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. November is here, and if you've got holiday travel plans or you're just trying to cross town through the crazy road construction, Jack Furrier has great news with our biggest rebates of the year. Get back $160 to $220 on all Michelin brand tires, including smooth riding, long-lasting Michelin Defender 2. Check out jackfurriers.com for even more November specials. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the local choice with great service and 14 award-winning locations. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960. We're here to get you there.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or RoyalKia.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rocking K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Looking for quality windows without the wait? Come to the Window Depot. We carry a huge selection of Milgard windows, in stock now and ready for pickup. Need something custom? No problem. From new construction to full home replacement, we'll help you order the perfect Milgard windows built to fit your space, style, and budget. Whether you're a homeowner or contractor, the Window Depot makes it easy to get the windows you need fast. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you and see why we're your Milgard window experts.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Anthony Del Orso is checked in. Bradley going to drive into the paint. Little pump fake, bounce it down to Krivas, and he'll slam it home for 2.
Big time finish there by Mo Krivas. 2 hands, not laying it up that time with the big time flush when it was needed.
Arizona and Denver straight ahead. Wildcats going to play their 3rd home game of the season. They have been road warriors this year, and they've won some pretty big games on the road. In fact, Arizona has beaten 3 ranked teams away from Tucson. Over the past 30 years, only 3 teams in college basketball have started a season with 3 wins away from home over top 15 opponents in the first 5 games of the season. One of those teams did it 4 years ago, actually now 5 years ago. That would have been Gonzaga in 2021. So I believe that was the last year that Tommy was on that staff, because he came here in the spring of 21.
Yeah, I think that was Chet Holmgren's year in Spokane.
The other team that did it was Arizona. 01-02 did it that year. And so Arizona has done it twice, and Tommy Lloyd has done it twice. Once as an assistant coach and once as a head coach.
Not surprising, right? I mean, because that's what they've had to do up there without the huge net ranking wins within the West Coast Conference over the entire length of their run to get the NCAA tournament, 26 consecutive years, something like that at this point. They had to schedule, Kelvin, a bunch of non-conference juggernauts so that the committee could see those numbers and see how they fared against those big schools when it came time to do seeding, because those first few years, I remember their first Sweet 16 run, late 90s. And ever since then, Coach Few has been amongst the best schedulers in the country. They're not ducking anybody, Kelvin.
No, not anybody, and that's why I'm not surprised with Coach Lloyd and his schedule. And this is what they did. This is what they had to do to get recruits there. I mean, to get recruits to want to play there. No one wanted to play against just St. Mary's as a competitive school every year. They wanted more competition than St. Mary's. So yeah, they went out and got that.
So the year that they did it in 1-2, the Wildcats started the season. They played a tournament at Madison Square Garden. They beat number 2 Maryland 71-67. They followed that with a win over number 6 Florida 75-71. That particular year, they started the season with 5 straight games against top 25 opponents, and they played 6 in their first 7 games. They beat Texas to start that season. They were number 23, but in terms of the top 15, the other team they beat that year was Illinois, 87-82 at McHale Center. So it was Illinois, Florida, and Maryland were the 3 top 10 teams they beat that year.
Yeah, they lost a lot, right? A lot of guys left
after the
championship. Yeah, a bunch of guys, Kelvin, decided to go pro right after. I think they lost like 4 or 5 guys to the pros after that year. Obviously, that was RJ and Arenas and all those guys. Yeah.
So I got to throw this out here. We could probably go all night on this topic, but we got this one from our guy, Bad Bats, who gave us our question of the day last week. Bad Bats says, and I had to go and do real quick research on this. He says, who are your top 3 Arizona basketball players that you've rooted for during their time at the U of A? He says his are Jason Gardner, Sean Elliott, and TJ McConnell. Those were his 3. So I just did some quick thinking on this. My 3, because I've been here since 8-9, my 3 would be Kyle Fogg, Nick Johnson, and Ira Lee.
I'm going to go with Kelvin Ifon, and Kelvin Ifon.
I wasn't here for Kelvin, so I can't vote for Kelvin.
My favorite, the first team I fell in love with was the Kerr, McMillan, Elliott, Cook, like Tolbert, that era, the 86, 87, 87, 88 team. So it'd have to be Steve Kerr, Sean Elliott are right on top of that list. And then, man, it's just impossible. There's so many great players. I always loved Luke when he played here because he wasn't the most athletic dude, but rooting for a guy like Luke Walton who maximized his potential with his brain, I always loved that in a player. So I would probably first blush go with those 3 guys.
And I mean, I would need some time, but I would just say these 3 guys for sure. Sean Elliott, because I met him early on in Dallas before, my second year I was working at camp. I met Sean Elliott, man, and he was bigger than life, man. I mean, just who he was as a man at the time playing in San Antonio. And then Damon and Khalid, man. I mean, those 2 guys, man, is the reason why I wanted to come here, unguard. You remember that, J-Dub?
Yeah, that was like the very first backcourt that dragged their team to a Final Four. Right? I mean, both those dudes, I think Khalid averaged 24 and Damon averaged 19 and a half. I mean, it was just ridiculous. That was way before the guard-heavy era where you saw a lot of guys. What was it, St. Joe's? Right? Like, that was a very similar style of team later in the 90s. But, yeah, Khalid and Damon were the truth.
My next 3 that I had on my list were Solomon Hill, TJ McConnell, and Umar Ballo. I had to pick somebody from this most recent era, and the guy I think I rooted for the most recently would be Umar Ballo.
Let me do my 3 too then. Jason Terry, Michael Dickinson, and Caleb Love.
It's a good list. Our guy Bad Bats also says, he also commented that don't sleep on Braden Burries because Caleb Love had a hard time finding his shot early last season. So Braden will eventually find his shot. Bad Bats, appreciate
don't
you.
Don't be comparing. No disrespect, but don't do that.
Fifth year Caleb Love and freshman Braden Burries.
Don't do that. I'm sure he's going to be okay because, Coach Marty's giving him the green light. The seniors got his back. They know they're going to need him to knock down some shots, within this season and whatnot. But they've shown that they can win without it. But with that being said, no, don't compare him to Caleb Love, sir. He's over 2,000 points. I mean, come on, guys.
All right, let's find out what the Wildcats need to do to win this game tonight.
Wildcats fans, what are the big keys for today's game? Our keys to the game are brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive Group, the dealership that is different.
All right, pretty simple for me, guys. I think the Wildcats just need to take care of the basketball. You don't want to turn it over against a team like this. Defend the three-point line, because that's the only way they're going to be able to win this game is if they get hot shooting three-pointers. So make sure you're out on those shooters, not leaving guys open in the corners. And I'd like to see the Wildcats get to the foul line a lot tonight. I mean, I think that's when they're really at their best, is when they can get to the foul line. Jaden Bradley, be nice to see him with 10 or more free throws in this game, although I don't think he's going to play that much tonight. But I'd like to see the team as a whole shoot. They shot decently. I think I'd like to see him shoot 80 from the line in tonight's game. J-Dub.
Okay, me?
Or go ahead, Kelvin.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
I would like to see us dominate the boards by more than 15. I just think this team isn't big. And, you just had a great game coming out the last game, so I want to see more of that dominance and more guys contribute to that rebound total. Secondly, I would like to see Barry's, get going a little bit in this game. So however many minutes that he needs to get going. And my third one is, again, I always said dominate the boards. I think defensively, I just want to see these guys be intense and make sure that they bring, the level of intensity like they're playing a big-time school. I know it's hard because the name on the front, but I just would love to see that type of attitude.
Yeah, your final key is my first one, Kelvin. I think you just got to come out strong, focus on the details, little things, follow the game plan, play this team as if it's a top 25 team, limit turnovers. If I see more than 12 at most turnovers versus this Pioneers team tonight, it's going to be too many. And you got to get the other guys involved. I mean, not to take any team lightly. And guys like Burries, Aristotle had his moment, but he and Evan Nelson, those three guys in particular, are going to be rotation guys at some point this season. So getting those other guys comfortable and some confidence within the flow of the offense, I think would be great. Those would be my keys for tonight.
All right, that's what we believe the Wildcats need to do to beat up on the Denver Pioneers.
Those are our keys for today's game. The keys to the game. Brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive Group, the dealership that is different. The foundation of a great basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature.
All right, starting lineup for your Arizona Wildcats tonight. At one guard, it's going to be Jaden Bradley. Jaden Bradley, 6'3", guard out of Rochester, New York, averaging 17 points and 4 assists this season, past 1,000 points last time out. Braden Burries, freshman guard out of San Bernardino at 6'4". Burries so far this season, 8 points, 5 of 17 from 3. The man in the middle, Motejas Krivas. He is 7'2" out of Lithuania, averages 9 points and 8 rebounds, 9 block shots this season. Ivan Karchinkov is one forward. Ivan is out of Munich, Germany, and Ivan is 6'7", and he is averaging 5 points and 4 rebounds. Koa Pete, 16 points a game, 7 rebounds to start his college career. That's the starting lineup, and that's our show. Wildcats, Denver, coming up next.
Hi, I'm Lisa Chastain. No one should go hungry, especially at Thanksgiving. That's why Gospel Rescue Mission is hosting our annual Thanksgiving Blessings event. Join us on Wednesday, November 26th for a home-cooked Thanksgiving meal. Also, clothing, haircuts, additional resources, and life-changing opportunities. Celebrate the holidays with us, because Thanksgiving is better when we share it together. Visit grmtucson.com to learn more.
Back your hometown favorite. Get your very own exclusive University of Arizona debit card from Hughes Federal Credit Union. Pair your new card with a free checking account that earns dividends with no monthly fees, no minimum balance, and convenient 24/7 online and mobile banking. Visit one of our 7 convenient branch locations to get your card instantly or open an account online at hughesfcu.org/wildcats. Show your Wildcat spirit all year long with Hughes Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. November is here, and if you've got holiday travel plans or you're just trying to cross town through the crazy road construction, Jack Furrier has great news with our biggest rebates of the year. Get back $160 to $220 on all Michelin brand tires, including smooth riding, long-lasting Michelin Defender 2. Check out jackfurriers.com for even more November specials. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the local choice with great service and 14 award-winning locations. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960. We're here to get you there.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Wildcat fans, where do you go when the final buzzer sounds? You don't head home. You head to Roadhouse Cinemas and Roadies, Tucson's home court for great food, craft beer, and nonstop fun. At Roadies, you can bowl, throw an axe, play arcade games, or grab a burger while the next game plays on the massive screens. Then, catch the newest movies right next door at Roadhouse Cinemas with luxury recliners and full in-seat dining. Game days, movie nights, anytime. Make it a win at Roadhouse Cinemas and Roadies on the corner of Grant and Swan.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up with science.
You mean they don't use yesterday's newspaper?
No, they use the latest in technology and innovation to eliminate bugs, bees, termites, weeds, and more.
So no as seen on TV salt guns?
Nope, only solutions that target insect biology, using chemistry to help protect the environment, people, and their pets.
You are so smart.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up. Call 886-3029 or visit essentialpest.com.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. November is here, and if you've got holiday travel plans or you're just trying to cross town through the crazy road construction, Jack Furrier has great news with our biggest rebates of the year. Get back $160 to $220 on all Michelin brand tires, including smooth riding, long-lasting Michelin Defender 2. Check out jackfurriers.com for even more November specials. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the local choice with great service and 14 award-winning locations. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960. We're here to get you there.
Jumper in the lane, rolls in for 2, drives into the lane to the bucket and good. It's good with 1 on the shot, down to 5 seconds. That's it. Wildcats are headed to the Elite 8 on Saturday. Dreams can come true. Arizona has won the national championship.
When it comes to basketball, nothing beats Wildcat basketball. Stay tuned for the fast breaks, blocked shots, and big buckets as Arizona Sports Enterprises brings you University of Arizona Wildcat basketball.
Over the first 3 weeks of the season, the Wildcats have flown 6,030 miles. Over the next 3 games, the Wildcats will fly 0 miles. The timing will allow some added teaching moments as the Cats face Denver, Norfolk State, and Auburn before their next road trip. Tonight, the 2-3 Pioneers